Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are all well. This is my second live stream in 2 days. Kind of strange, but it's cool. It's fun to be back on the saddle, so to speak. And if you guys missed it last night, I did a great discussion and interview with Christian Petrovich from Argos. Tonight, I've got another very, very special guest. You guys know him, and obviously his name's in the title. My boy Ross, TLTG Reviews, and we've got a juicy topic tonight talking about XERJOFF, which, I think a lot of you guys like XERJOFF. I like XERJOFF. I think obviously Ross likes some XERJOFF, and we're going to be showcasing the XERJOFF fragrances that we both own. As we kind of discussed a little bit behind the scenes, we're going to have a little bit of overlap, but maybe not much. So you guys will get quite a nice variety here. I think we're going to have a total of 23 different XERJOFFs, but 24 fragrances total between the two of us. I don't know if those numbers are exactly right, but 24 total bottles will be on your screen throughout this live stream. So just want to say what's up to you guys. Let's see who is in the chat real quick in these first couple minutes here. Is this a XERJOFF buying guide? No, this is not a buying guide. Ross and I are just going to be sharing what we like. And if you want to try it, I think there's actually a link in the description where you can get decants. But we're not telling you what to buy. We're just sharing what we like in the order that we like them. That's all it is. What else we got here? Yeah, feel free to drop your scent of the night. I see Dan Not the Man's wearing Signature Noir. I need to give that some more love. It's been a minute, honestly. See, Elroy is in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Noel, Second Soul, out running errands. Burlington after the shower. It was a classy day for you, my friend. Yes, indeed. Anyway, what time is it for me? It is currently 5:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you can do your own math there. Anyway, I'm going to bring Ross on screen and we can get some pre-lineup shenanigans going and interact with you guys. And it's just been a while. So we're happy to be here together. We'll see how this turns out. I think it's going to be great. But everyone give it up for Mr. Ross Carlos.
Welcome. Justin's channel, everyone. Thank you for having me. Always good. Shame on us, first and foremost. It has been over 4 months.
I can't believe it, but I can at the same time.
Yeah, we live very different lives and many time zones apart. I get it. Literally on opposite sides of the country. I'm like an hour away from being another time zone ahead of you.
Yes,
literally,
exactly.
If I was to go another hour east, I'd jump in.
Yeah, it still blows my mind that you're in Florida and you're still central. But
yeah, I know it's because I'm right to handle,
Yeah.
But I want to give a special shout out to one of your regulars that I inherited over time through you, Sir C.I. Sniffington. This is all your fault.
Sir C.I.
He's the one that brought it up and reminded me, and I called Justin and I'm like, man, it's been like 2 months. You're like, actually, it's been 3. This was over a month ago. This conversation.
Yes.
And it kind of gave us that nudge that, like, we love doing this. Why haven't we done this? Our back and forth, one here.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. It was way overdue. There was really no good reason why we've been away from this. And just to make up for it, guys, we are going to do a little double header. So we'll be over on Ross's channel a week from today with another fun topic. So you guys can meet us over there. But for the time being, we're going to have a great time here. I'm seeing
That's
some
the plan. That is the plan.
I'm seeing some dumb stuff already popping into the comments.
That was the same thing last night in somebody's live chat. That's cool. Hey, love you too. Good to see
What's up, guys? The clowns are on display.
Good to see everybody. Thank y'all for coming. While you're here, subscribe to Justin Copeland if you haven't yet. I would love to see this man hit 100,000 here tonight. That would be great. He's less than 200 out. What's the actual number?
Let me check. Actually, let me look on my computer. I think the last time I checked, it was like a couple hours ago, and I was sitting at like 820 something. But so currently, Yeah, currently we are at 825. Yeah.
So 175 away, you know, if not tonight, tomorrow, right? Let's fingers
For
crossed, you
sure.
know. You know?
I see
Long
John
overdue for
C.
this, man. Long
John
overdue.
C. No, I just missed it. Oh, people came in. This live doesn't end until you
If
hear
only,
that, guys.
if only.
Nobody's leaving until it happens.
Tell a friend to come watch and subscribe. Yeah.
Tell a friend to tell a friend, as our boy Big Beard would say.
Shout out to both.
Yeah. So yeah, we're on the road. Obviously, it's gonna happen. It's been weird. I feel like it wasn't until we hit about 7 that I'm like, oh, okay, so this is happening. Yeah, I think before that it was like, it was weird. I had this like, we'll see kind of, even though it's inevitable, but it's exciting. Looking forward to getting there. See, Jared is in the house. Got to be less than 200 people before 100K. Yeah, it is. It definitely is, Jared. I just see you guys are just out here with nothing else to do. Go.
I'm getting rid of them on YouTube.
Yeah, go find.
Hey man, this
Yeah.
is a monetized live stream. Please tell all of your little buddies that don't like me.
This is just
tell them to subscribe. You know,
it's funny, man. It's funny. Anyway, yeah, Ross, what is I guess what is new and or exciting for you fragrance wise outside of Zerof? You know, these days, the last few days, what you've been thinking about spraying?
Today's actually kind of exciting because I'm pretty confident you didn't see my Sin of the Day shorts video because I'm pretty sure you would have said something backstage. So I decided to go with what I believe to be a spicy, aromatic, modern classic, a true discontinued gem that me and the wife both agree has matured nicely, is a much deeper fragrance than when it released. I was in the mood, like I said, spice, aromatics, very barbershop. I decided to go with Brass and Soul.
I had a feeling.
Very much a collectible. I never wear it because this is more a memento from a moment in time for me.
For sure.
And it is something I just want to spray the whole juice level down, you know? But
yes,
man,
I'm glad it's opening up for you.
For those that never got an opportunity, I swear this isn't a rub it in your face kind of thing. It's you missed on a true gem of what Stay Fresh Productions in this moment in time was about.
Yeah.
The profile really suits what Justin's style is, regardless of what others may have thought at the time, because it is another Stay Fresh production. Good stuff. And then so for those of you that have tried Second Soul, but not this, you smell this in the opening of Second Soul. Second Soul is a true flanker to this.
Definitely. Super
happy to have this. The mistake I made was getting one bottle. So when we did the second round, I looked at both of them. I said, do y'all mind if I have 2 bottles this time?
Yes, totally.
You know, just in case. I'd like to have that bottle. Because I regret it now. Because I don't touch them. I don't touch this in the siren. I just kind of have them as a memento, you know. But I was like, you know what? We haven't streamed in a while. Let me rock something special. I wasn't concrete on wearing anything in particular.
Yes.
Justin's first creation, Brass and Soul.
Man, I dig it. You know, I'm glad you do too, and I'm honored that you're wearing that. Yeah, that's good memories. Good memories from that time. I mean, for not just for me, of course, but just that project and the newness of it all, and you know, George really kind of taking our hands and like guiding us through what that process is like and how crazy it is at the other side once you get your product into people's hands and then they're telling you what they think. And it's wild, you know. Those of you guys watching, those of you who were around during that time to support the project and who enjoyed what came out of it, we appreciate you guys so much, truly. And, you know, we can't tell you because, you know, we didn't know until George showed us. He pulled the veil and showed us everything that goes into bringing a new fragrance to market from the ground up. Man, it was more than I would have really truly thought. At least, you know, the way George does it, because George does not cut corners and everything. Anyway, I could go on and on.
Yeah, the process was interesting to get to see from the creation process, the idea to the creation, from idea to actual finalized aroma, that whole process, getting down to picking the concentration, which you and Christian touched on yesterday, because concentration does not play the factor everybody thinks it does into, higher concentration, stronger fragrance. No, in most cases, it's going to wear heavier, which is closer. It's going to bring the base out more. You're going to lose some top. That's a almost guaranteed characteristic of cranking up the oil without reformulating or rebalancing.
That's right.
So seeing, that's how we learned that, was going through this process of perfumers. That's how we know that.
Exactly.
It's amazing that we got to see just that part alone, let alone let's discuss marketing. How are we going to promote the products? Because, you know, call it whatever you want. These are products that we created with our names on them. Of course, we would like to sell them and people to buy them.
We don't want to just sit on them in boxes.
Product. Yeah, we just want to make it. All right, spending all that money, George. It was fun, you know.
Definitely, man.
But it was a great learning experience that I never thought I would have an opportunity for. And then to get to do it twice, taking what you learned the first time, going into it with a different level of content, of confidence, and your creative process was a bit different. Is that fair to say? The second,
for sure, more refined, more
and an established understanding relationship with your perfumer going into a second round.
Exactly. Yeah, what a cool thing, and it's
really
amazing to share it with all of you guys.
Thank you.
We are 11 and a half minutes in, so I think it's high time we get started here. Talking about XERJOFF, let's switch gears. I feel called to give some kind of introduction to XERJOFF, but I don't think that's necessary. We all know what it is. And if you don't, you're going to find out.
Very, very well-rounded and diversified brand, I would say.
Very diversified. That's a great way to put it. A lot of variety. Some might say almost too much variety, too much to really choose from. I feel like about once a month, I hear about a new XERJOFF I've never heard of. Like somebody will ask me, have you tried this? I'm like,
there's a lot.
The hell is that? This is some dude that did that the other day. He said, have you tried P33? I'm like, P33? What? That's a fragrance? I looked it up. There it is. I'm like, how did I not? So they like slip stuff under the radar. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about some XERJOFFs. I mean, Mancera is even to another level. So that's that's something else, man. Like, oh, we didn't tell you we released 12 fragrances last year.
Yeah.
Like, oh, didn't know.
And 6 of them are the same.
A topic for another time there. Okay, so once again, Ross and I, we have drawn together all of our respective XERJOFF fragrances in our collection. We've ranked them. None of us know how the other ranked each of our fragrances, and we're going to see how they line up. That'll be the fun part that you guys get to witness. And so we're just going to start with Ross. Ross, what is I think you said you have 13 bottles on your end there?
I do. I have 13.
What is your number 13?
So my number 13 and 12 may anger some people. And the reason that they are where they are is because I just haven't spent any time with them. They're part of the 315 ml mini bottle discovery that I purchased. Cool. And the first one is Cruz del Sur 2.
Okay.
I love these little bottles. I just do. They look, for mini bottles, it's probably the best ones, I gotta say, because I do have a little amount of mini bottles, Diorames and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's fun when you can come across them. This is
adorable,
very
man.
Fruity, tropical, very enjoyable, perfectly unisex, and that really speaks to my taste. After I spend more time with it, it's definitely going to climb the ladder. I was sniffing on it beforehand. That's why I have a test strip ready. A little powdery. It's definitely on the creamy side, but a lot of mango up top, which I'm a big mango fan. I haven't spent enough time with it to warrant putting it over something else, basically.
Sure. Yeah. Is there an element about it that kind of maybe would have you reach for it less or reach for others over it? Is it, like the powderiness maybe?
No, because I'm a fan of the fruity top specifically, because mango is the preferred fruity note that I do enjoy. I am a fan of powdery fragrances, of the 2 fragrances I created that we spoke of based around iris, powdery fragrance.
Sure.
So I enjoy the nuance to it. It's just, I felt it was because some of the ones I have above it and the next one even, people can be like, how are those ranked below this and this and that? Because some of these are very popular because
For
one's a little
sure.
strange that I actually enjoy that it's strange. And that's why
Yes.
it's ranked a little bit higher, which we'll get into that one in a little bit. But
Yes, indeed.
again, it just comes down to lack of familiarity and time with it to warrant
Mm,
anything. It actually smells fantastic. It's one that I think could at least hit middle of the pack in this collection that I have after
mm.
spending a couple of wearings with it.
Okay. I have not smelled it. I have not tried that one at all. So I tried to piece it together in my head. It sounds interesting.
It's quite
Fruity,
nice.
powdery. Yeah, it
Very,
sounds really nice.
very unisex. I don't find it leans feminine. It's, I believe, some jasmine's the main floral note here that gives it that powder.
Okay.
But very tropical fruity at the top too. Island kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to try it sometime. Okay, I'm going to start with my 11th spot. So I got 11 bottles, guys. Ross has 13. My 11th spot, I don't dislike this fragrance. This is 1888 from Casa Maradi. And it's just really particular. It's a particular personality that I'm rarely in the mood for. I have to like tell myself the day before, like, you know what, I'm gonna wear 1888 tomorrow, no matter what. If I'm left to like make the decision on a whim, like last minute, if I'm running out the house, it will never be this fragrance. But it's a great scent.
Like
It's basically this ambery carnation fragrance. It is sweet and warm. There's maybe a little bit of an aromatic quality, almost this gentlemanly, clean freshness, not quite fougere status. And carnation, which is this pretty spicy floral. It really does actually kind of represent the color. And you can't really tell, but the juice itself is also like orange, basically. And it is it's a special scent. It's really sophisticated. It's pretty floral, so to some it might smell a little stuffy. Maybe I think I've seen people say it smells a little grandma-ish, but I feel like it's pretty masculine. It's pretty like sophisticated gentleman vibes.
How do you
But
feel about carnation personally? Because that's very like old school masculine floral.
it is carnation. Yeah, you saw a lot of that in like maybe the 80s, 90s. I can't say I love it, but there's several fragrances that I have that are more vintage that I do appreciate, and they all happen to have carnation. So I would feel like a part of me is like, okay, yeah, I like carnation, but I'm not drawn to it. I'm not looking for it. I'm not necessarily reaching for it, but I appreciate it. But I also feel like I need to get to know it better. I wouldn't say I know it
I think
super
something
well.
like that, based on the profile, the way you explain it, because I haven't tried it. I'm familiar with it. I know of it. I haven't smelled it specifically.
Yeah.
And typical carnation heavy, old school powerhouse style like that, I think the right setting. You got to have the right setting. Certain weddings, family reunions, get-togethers, you're going to be with some of the elders. I'm not trying to paint it as an old person fragrance, but that's who's really going to appreciate the profile more because it's more of their era.
Yeah.
Whereas you're going to be around a bunch of 20 and 30-year-olds, that's not really of the era. We're more the world of the citrus fragrances, the sweet fragrances, the tobaccos. That's more of that age group. So I think situational appropriateness is probably would really suit something like that.
Definitely situational. I feel like if you wore it and you were hanging around a bunch of 20-year-olds, they might assume that you're older than them, even if you aren't. Especially if you kind of like dressed apart and you walked apart and you have this like confident reservedness to you, and you smell like that, then people will be like, what do you do for a living? And you can be like, oh, I'm a student. Yeah, it's like, oh, I go to school. People are like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Anyway, so that's my 11th spot. Technically my worst one, but I do like it. It's just situational. Ross, how about your 12th spot? What you got?
So here's one that I think people are gonna be like, what? And it's just the same as with Cruz del Sur. Lack of time spent with it because it's a very recent pickup that I just haven't gotten around to wearing. Another one of those mini bottles from that same set. This is Oud Overdose.
Haven't
some
tried.
People are gonna be mad at me for this one because this is a favorite. I just haven't spent enough time with it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair.
It's a lovely sweet scent, a little on the powdery side. I get a soft leather and wood facet to it in the deeper dry down. I don't even remember the notes to it, but this is some of the accords that I get from it. Very mass appealing type. Like I could see why a lot of people enjoy this fragrance. This is pretty easy to approach. I know Uden's very popular. There's Chad. What's going on, my man?
What's up, Chad? Good to see you, man.
It's actually on the test strips gotten quite powdery.
Okay.
Surprisingly, more powdery than the much more floral dominant fragrance in Cruz del Sur.
Okay.
But this has a darker element to it. Like I said, this has more versatility to it, where Cruz del Sur very much tropical, warm weather, vacation, those types of settings. Whereas Uden Overdose is definitely something you can rock year round. It's very approachable and easy to like. Again, I hate to put it so low. It's just I'd be lying if I'm sitting here. Oh, it's so good. How do you know that? You never wear it.
Exactly. We're being real with you guys. That's what it is.
Very upfront about this.
Yes, that's all it is. I mean, yeah, we just gotta, as much as we wear these fragrances, included with how we feel about them, is what what is contributing to our ranking. So
now I can assure you, everything from here on I have worn.
No worries, man. Okay, my 10th spot. This will hurt some hearts.
Uh-oh. Maybe mine.
Naxos.
We just pissing people off right away, huh?
I'm not trying to piss people off, man. But look, it's above 1888, right? And I said I like 1888. The same applies for Naxos.
Time out. Because you literally just posted this as a sin of the day. People don't think I don't like Naxos. You just posted about that this week, and you're like, look, all right, number 10 out of 11 is Naxos.
Hey, man. Like I said, I like all these fragrances, but when you stack this up next to all my other XERJOFFs, it's number 10. But it's good. But I don't love it because you see what people say about Naxos.
I don't even have it.
Have you smelled it or sampled it?
I've had a sample of it, yeah.
Okay.
It's very good. I just never got around to buying it. I'd like to have it one day. I just haven't bought it.
This is one of those fragrances that I understand why people love it. Like I smell it and I'm like, that's why. I see it. And I actually like the wearing experience. If I were to say if there's anything I don't like about Naxos or I would change, I mean, I feel like there's this cough syrup vibe I get, and it may be just how the lavender and the lemon come together. I don't know what it is. It's kind of medicinal or syrupy in this way that it doesn't last very long, maybe the first hour or so. That's the only thing that I'm like, about it. But beyond that, to me, I just think it just doesn't live up to the hype. It's good, but it's not like, oh my gosh, if I could have one tobacco fragrance for the rest of time, it's Naxos. That it's not Naxos. Naxos is good, and I appreciate it. And I'll probably have this bottle as long as I have it until it's gone. I do like the scent, but I can't say it is like best of the best as it's kind of touted everywhere. And I honestly think that a lot of people might say that because it gets compliments, which can be said about a lot of fragrances. As soon as a fragrance gets compliments across the board from several people and they all corroborate about it, now it's at the top. Now it's one of the best ever. But when it's like, okay, well, what does it smell like? Well, thankfully, Naxos actually does smell good, but there's some out there that don't. They just like, oh, other people like it, so you like it. Cool. That another topic for another time.
We've done that topic, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, we probably have, maybe twice, 3 times over.
Not everything's us ranking fragrances. Sometimes
we just bring the pot in our stir and we just go in on it. Daryl Williams is saying some say Hall's lemon cough drop. Yeah, I could kind of see that, especially at the opening, that first spray. And obviously, I just sprayed it. I'm smelling it like this. This is not realistic. You don't put it on and then somehow get your nose on your neck and just sniff. Like you don't smell it up close. So this is not real, right?
How'd you do that again?
Let me see if I can just stretch my nose. Yeah. So I get it. Up close, definitely medicinal, but it does taper off and it's actually really nice. I like the vibe around.
It's smooth too.
It is smooth when and A lot of people say performance is great. Performance is great for me. When I do put this in videos, people say, "Oh man, you got that dark juice. How do I get that dark juice? It looks like Dasani now." And I'm like, I don't know, but I wouldn't chase it. Don't worry
I never
yourself.
think it's that serious to chase magic.
Don't worry yourself. Like, but I'm not buying it until I find it where it looks like honey. I'm like, it may not happen. So just get a sample and see how you feel. Anyway, I'm gonna move on. Ross, what you got next?
So this is where people might get mad at me because like, how do you put that over Oud and Overdose? Well, for one, I've spent time with it. And this is that oddball fragrance that a lot of people don't really like. It doesn't get love on the forums with the ratings and stuff like that. It's more of a dry apple, fruity, woody fragrance. It is Amabile.
Okay, I don't know anything about this.
That's just how it's from sitting in its box and everything.
Yes,
like the felt came off on it.
Totally.
I swear to God, I bought it because the bottle was high vis yellow. I was like, I'll take a shot. It's XERJOFF. It's bound to be pretty good. Then
oh my God!
I started when we're live because I do my live unboxings for the halls. I'm looking at the ratings and people crapping all over it. I'm like, it's not that bad. What do y'all thought? I'm sniffing.
Isn't it funny when that happens?
Yeah.
When you smell a fragrance before you see the ratings.
Yeah, it was cheap. It was like a little over $100. Now I know why nobody buys it.
Yeah,
so naturally we moved the style. It was like 102 or something. I was like, yeah, I'll blind buy any XERJOFF for $100, damn near. Especially cool looking bottle. Literally, I normally don't care about the bottle, but
it like matches that little logo you got on you.
I like my. And, I feel like more people should give it a shot. Just get a sample. Look, you may hate it. You may be like, TLTG's crazy. He's shilling for XERJOFF. And some stupid shit like that, It's
like, I wish. I'll take that money.
XERJOFF, I actually like this. I'm probably the only person that likes this from what I can see. But I think when you come across a fragrance that's oddly interesting, no matter how the profile is, that immediately gives charm for me. And it pulls me in. I say this all the time on my channel. In the world of redundancy that I live in on those shelves, when I come across something that smells like nothing else I have or have smelled before, I'm in. Even if the wearability is low for me, like super situational, it doesn't mean I can't really appreciate it. This doesn't have low wearability. It's fruity, woody. You can wear this year round if you really want to. It's just not captivating. Like I can see where people are coming from with it. It's not special in any way. And I can see where even at $100 to be like, that's way overpriced. So I get the arguments for it, but like I said, it's charming to me because it's such an interesting woody, fruity fragrance that doesn't smell like all the other woody, fruity fragrances.
Okay, I can appreciate that. Have any of you guys out there tried? Chime in the comments if you've tried. What's it called again? Amabile.
Amabile. Amabile. It's either Amabile or Amabile. I think it's Amabile.
Amabile.
I don't know. It's spelled like it could be either. I've never heard another person pronounce it, so I don't know. I should message Sebastian. If anybody would know, it would be Sebastian.
Yes, that's right.
I learned yesterday or day before that it's Loewe.
Okay, I've always forgotten. It's Loewe.
Yeah, and I think it's Sebastian Spanish. Pronounces it that way. And I said, if that's how Sebastian pronounces it, that's probably correct then.
Yeah, because it's not low. Right.
Yeah, because I was just saying low.
I mean, I didn't know what it was, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, same thing.
That is hilarious. Okay.
So you got it number 9.
Oh, we see. Here we go. Chris is saying Amabile. Amabile.
See, I didn't know that.
Amabile. That's Italian. Amabile.
I've never had another person correct me or hear another person say it. So thank you for that, Chris.
You'll never forget now. Thank you, Chris.
Now I know.
Appreciate you very much.
Thanks, sir.
All right. I'm going to keep it moving here. Next one up. This is one you don't see a ton of talk about, but it has, I'd say, some fairly down the road feedback online in terms of people who are like, it's good. And then you have some people say, oh my gosh, got me so many compliments. But I don't see a ton of people saying, ugh.
Well, doesn't it just automatically become a great fragrance if you get a compliment and it's trash if you don't? Isn't that the rule?
I stand corrected, my friend.
And isn't that
That is how it
if it's
goes.
not
Real
a
quick.
beast or doesn't get compliments, it's trash.
Mr. Gumbo, salute Justin and Ross and the chat. I buy my fragrance according to my lifestyle, not the hype.
Amen,
That's
sir.
the way to do it. That's
Amen,
the way
sir.
to do it.
Louisiana,
Thank you.
stand up. I see you got that UL to raise
There
your
you
case.
got it.
Yeah.
Thank you for being an example, sir. Appreciate that. All right, my next one up here. This is called Comandante from the JTC collection.
I like that one.
You've tried this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's grown on me. It's weird. I had this when
That's
I first
strong,
tried
too.
it. It is. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. When I first tried it, I was disappointed. The second time I wore it, I liked it more. I showed it to Grace. She doesn't like it at all. So then the next time I wore it, I'm like, I don't know if I like it either. But then I wore it again and I'm like, you know what? No, it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. But I'm going to give it a spray here. You know, you look at the notes of this thing and it looks very interesting. It has like tobacco and fruits and
it's very bright tobacco in the opening.
It is. It's like kind of almost has a cleanliness to it. I mean, to me, I'm reminded of like Le Male, like that kind of vibe.
Kind of see where you're coming from there a little bit.
Like our Le Male Armani Code, like that almost creamy fresh. That's what I call it, creamy fresh.
I get where you're coming from with it.
And I think there's maybe some honey in there. And so it's funny. It has some overlap to Naxos, but thankfully it smells nothing like Naxos. Definitely fruity,
overlap,
fresh.
meaning you can do the same situations, basically. Similar profile.
In terms of the notes, like, you know, has that tobacco. I think it has, again, maybe some honey. I could be wrong about the honey, but I thought there was honey in here. But when you zoom in on it, you get these elements that are all like, okay, cool. I get the fruits. I see that tobacco. That's kind of almost powdery, fresh, creamy, really pleasant. When you zoom out, it does smell a little mainstream. It smells like high quality mainstream. It reminds me of like several different things all at the same time, kind of all in one. Now, is that a problem? No, because I do think that the quality is good. You know, when people are paying the high price, as you said, Ross, this is a strong fragrance. I agree. And I think people expect that when they're paying this price. And it is one that most people around you will enjoy. So you might get a few compliments on it. So if you consider those two things to be the markers of a good fragrance, that is good performance and getting compliments, then you might have it in Comandante. But for me, you know, as Ross likes to say, you're living in the sillage, right? So in between those moments of like, hey, you smell great. Oh, thanks. And then now I'm out the door and now it's just me. And I'm walking through the world. I'm driving through the world. And I gotta love it. I have to be captivated by it in the in-between. And this is okay. It's good. Again, it's kind of been a roller coaster for me in terms of how I feel about it. Right now, it's a little bit on and up. Obviously, it's not super high on the list just because I find others more interesting. It's not an interesting fragrance, but it's really pleasant and it's really well put together. So that would be Comandante.
That's well said, because the whole living in the sillage thing is, like you said, that's moments throughout the day. Let's say, God forbid, you don't go nose blind to the fragrance and you're not in love with the way it smells. That's miserable for 10 hours. If you're like, after 2 hours, you're done. I can give a prime example. Justin Copeland smelling Hawass for the first time. It's nice. It's good. I get it. After 2 hours, I'm sick of it. Am I wrong? Am I right?
That's the truth. That's the truth. Yeah.
Because if you're not in love with Hawass, it's great, but it's not for everyone. It's very, very chemically synthetic. I get it. I very much enjoy it. I always assumed he would not. It's not a Justin Copeland fragrance. But it's a great example of, if you're not going to get the nose fatigue and it's a strong fragrance, you better really like it, because you're going to live in that sillage until you take your shower.
Exactly.
It's not about other people. It's about your wearing experience. That's why I don't put so much stock into performance. It becomes irrelevant if I don't enjoy it.
It's exactly, man. Thank you. Yeah, you said it so well. I couldn't say it better than that. Let me see here. Yeah, John is chiming in saying, Comandante gives me huge Armani Code vibes, very designer-like. Yeah, I feel the same way. I found that there's a little bit more under the hood as I got to know it better, but it is still in its essence kind of designery, but it's good. It's fine.
I think
gonna
that's
be
a
up to
fair
you.
statement kind of with Naxos too, because it's so mass appealing.
There's definitely mass appeal. I would say Naxos, ironically enough, is more interesting to me than Comandante, even though I ranked it lower. But that's just because it has this slightly off-putting vibe, at least for the first bit when I wear it. I don't
The
love that
medicinal feel
opening.
that you were talking about.
Comandante has no rough edges. There's nothing about it I dislike, but it's just not that interesting. So anyway, sir, what you got next? You got people
Well,
to
real
piss
quick,
off? Or?
John
Oh yeah.
Michael Vernon, he's got a question on how to tag. So, John, you're
Let's
going to
see
want to
here.
use the @ symbol and start
Oh
typing
yes.
their name, and it'll pop up, and you can click their name.
Thank you for catching that, Ross. And
Yeah.
John, welcome. If this is your first stream, thank you.
He's
for
a
being
regular
here.
for me. He's one of my channel members. Thanks for coming over and hanging with us, John.
Yeah,
Sure
appreciate you,
that.
man. Thanks for hanging out. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. But Ross, how about you? What's up, bro? Since good to see you.
Good to see Bro Sense. I see Spencer's in the house. We'll be live with Spencer on Monday on his channel.
Nice.
Spencer is like, you want to talk about somebody that really spends time on his live stream format? Not so famous YouTuber.
Okay.
Buddy, he must, we're going to have that talk backstage, Spencer. He must spend 2 hours setting up a live stream. He's got multiple camera angles, like on his hands by the bottles. He's got all these layouts. Like I was pointing out earlier for your Happy Land stream, Spencer. He's got him on a TV screen, on a green screen on the back, doing the live, and just like all these different formats for when he goes to the chat. Like, it's impressive. It's literally the most detailed and diversified live stream format in this space.
Wow.
Yeah, Spencer's got it going on with his live stream format.
And me, I'm just here
like a lot of, like we get up and go, you know, and most of us get up and go. Spencer's like, nope, I'm gonna be different. This is gonna set me apart, and it sure does. So kudos to you, Spencer.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah,
because I'm not doing that at all, as you can see here.
Oh God, man, we ain't got time for that. I don't know how we got time for that. I don't know how.
Watermelon supporter. Appreciate you supporting the channel and supporting watermelons. Hey guys, I live in Mississippi. I work in a workshop, big open space. What would your opinions be on a sweet frag doing hard labor, cold or hot out? Interesting question. Ross, do you have any preliminary thoughts?
It depends on how you can bear it, because it's going to be irrelevant to those around you if you're outdoors in labor. Because when you're heating up, whether you're cold and bundled up, if you're still moving, you're going to start sweating in your jacket or your fire retardant coveralls, whatever. I don't know what you're doing in the labor force, but you're going to sweat your ass off if you're actually working, even out in the cold. So you're going to get that fragrance pumping. So it comes down to, can you bear the overwhelming sweetness?
Yes.
If you thoroughly enjoy smelling sweet all the time, you can wear whatever you want outdoors. I got asked about making a blue collar fragrance video literally yesterday. And it's like, guys, it's kind of an irrelevant video, because it's like whatever you can stand to wear because you're outdoors.
That's right.
You know,
and of course,
as long as your boys ain't giving you, because that, you know, the blue collar job, y'all busting each other's balls all day. You and your work buddy. So as long as it's not going to cause you a headache, and I don't mean just from the aroma, where you wear whatever you want. It's different in an office setting. Blue collar work, you do whatever the hell you can bear is, I think, the best answer.
I agree. Yeah, big open space, either inside or outside, whatever you can bear.
Shop, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have kind of the luxury of wearing whatever it is you enjoy. You still want to be you still want to be considerate of people around you. So just because you got open space doesn't mean you got to do 15 sprays of Naxos. But
you sissy sprayer.
How dare I say that?
Yeah.
I just, you can experiment a little bit, maybe find one of your favorite sweet scents. I don't know what you're normally doing, but maybe start between 4 and 6 sprays, see how the day goes. If you feel like you could have handled more, so be it. If you feel like it was enough, then now you know. So you just got to get out there and try some stuff, and start at a place where you still have room to grow if needed. Maybe start a little conservative. and that, just know your fragrances, know what's going to be real strong and what's going to leave that trail, and what won't, that kind of stuff. So
that's a good setting to experiment with spray routine on certain fragrances that are new in your collection too. So you can really see what you can dial up,
yes,
how nose blind you're going to go to something, how heavy you can go before you can't smell it.
that's
Different
right.
things. Like there's a lot of things you can actually play with your fragrance a bit more in
That's
those
right.
settings. So,
That's right. You got more room to
like I
move
said, it all
around like
comes
that.
down to how your partners at work are going to bust your balls, though. You got to take that in. If you got thin skin, you're not going to be able to handle it. Your setting,
Yeah, the hope is that you guys are friends, like real
Yeah,
friends. So
yeah. You work buddies. Not is with your work buddies.
exactly.
Yeah.
Ross, what you got next?
So this is a new release for this year. I recently did not too recently, a few weeks back, did a decant swap with Tazo and Dedrick. Shout outs to Tazo and Dedrick.
Okay.
And I just kind of threw this in there. Not sure on the reaction because it's very creamy, based around tuberose and coconut. On the feminine side, Tazo fell in love with it. Dedrick fell in love with it. It was one of the highest of the 15 decants we sniffed between the three of us. Because it was three of us, so it was 15, 10 to him, 10 to him. It was,
Interesting.
we had a lot of decants. Quattro Pizzi.
Ah, yeah, that new one. I haven't tried
Coconut
it yet.
tuberose. Super, super creamy, a little sunscreeny because it's coconut and tuberose. Because sometimes both can give you that nuance and that feel. You can get cocoa butter and sunscreen lotion from either, depending on the note and how it's
Cocoa
balanced.
butter, yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
So you definitely get that here. It's not over the top powdery. There's obviously other supporting notes, but that's the main players that you get from start to finish is a very creamy coconut tuberose. So it's this pearlescent bottle colors fitting to the profile.
Nice.
It's a very creamy, white floral, tropical type fragrance. It's a tropical floral that's not fruity. There's fruits, but I still wouldn't call it a fruity floral. Great performance too. 2 to 3 sprays is plenty. You can tell me you spray 30 sprays. Great. I don't want to hang out with you. 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 if you're feeling frisky. Because this stuff is really potent, I have to say. At least for me, it is. It's very, very potent. And it lasts forever. It's a very thick sillage. The aroma's thick. It's
would you say it's perfectly unisex, or would you say it leans a little feminine, or a little feminine? Just a little bit.
Definitely leans feminine. I was surprised how big of a hit it was with Dedrick and Tazo because it leans feminine. Now, I know they appreciate florals and they like coconut and all that stuff. I just didn't know how much they would appreciate this specifically. It was literally, I was testing the waters as this was kind of the curveball fragrance I threw in that I thought was very good. Very underrated release this year. You don't hear a lot about it. It came out like first quarter of the year.
Yeah.
And I was already able to get it months ago, like mid $100 range from Fragrance Buy for the 100 ml bottle. I was surprised. I was like, why is it already like 130, 140? It just came out, So I was a little nervous getting it. Like, is it bad? What? And no, it's actually a beautiful fragrance if you like that style, but you have to know going into it. It is a feminine leaning fragrance. There's nothing man's man about this profile. You appreciate fine fragrances, and your taste and your palate has evolved beyond the typical over masculine profiles.
Definitely.
That's the guys that'll probably appreciate this.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell like a woman. I don't think it's a girly smell.
Yeah.
It just unisex, but leans a little feminine. There's a touch of spice, there's some woods. There's some stuff to ground it from being just girly.
Yes.
But I would put it at a feminine. As soon as I pull the cap, it hit me in the nose. It's so strong.
Man, I feel like when it comes to fragrances like that, I don't know how you feel about this. I've heard this said before that if you're not confident in the scent profile being masculine enough, you can kind of add balance by, with your appearance, so for instance, I've never smelled this fragrance, but a fragrance like that, or maybe a fragrance that I feel that way about, it doesn't have to be this scent profile. I might wear it in all black going out at night, so I'm wearing all black. I'm wearing like a maybe if it's cold, leather jacket, like I really up that side of the scale, so to speak, to kind of balance out. So I don't know. That's just, I heard that from someone years ago and it really stuck. And I've kind of stuck by that. But Ross, I'm curious for you personally with that fragrance, what is usually your your wearing scenario with
So
that kind
that
of
is
fragrance.
something that I agree. If you're not the confident type, regardless, like I'll
Mm,
rock this Dior Intense how I'm dressed now. I don't give a shit, but I understand situational appropriateness. That's why I
sure.
constantly try to speak on those topics when I'm talking about fragrances. So
Yeah.
with this, I would say that, if you're going to go the daytime route, because it does have that summer feel, even though it's very dense, I
Hmm.
think that the whole linen sleeves rolled up kind of thing on a casual setting
Sure.
on up to, I wouldn't necessarily feel like I got to dress all black in the evenings because of the
Hmm.
profile. The
Yeah.
profile is very much a summer vacation still,
I get
just
it.
not the drinks by the pool type.
Yeah.
This is out in the evenings, the
A
tiki
little bit
bar,
more
the fires
classy.
are lit, the sun has
Yeah.
already set. This is, spending some quality time with your lady. You left the kids at the hotel, at the resort. It's that kind of summer evening type of
Okay.
stuff. I think it still begs you to do summertime, just
Mm.
specific evening summertime. And again, it can go daytime very much. It's just mindful because it's so dense. And if you're in a humid area, it's going to be really heavy. It's going to get even thicker.
Mm.
So it's one that you really got to understand the profile before you just go spraying and go out into the world. You got to really understand where you're going with it. I think situational awareness is a big deal with this one.
Yes, I appreciate that, man. No, that makes total sense. I really appreciate that, and make it make sense with bottles and beer. I definitely balance out my less masculine frags with my attire.
It's the way to
Yep,
do it. You
got
know,
you.
your lady's always going to appreciate that more when you're bold with your fragrance choice. You know,
Yep,
you're
yep.
different.
There's something about wearing a profile that, like that, with confidence as a man, that it changes. Somehow the scent kind of just melds and changes with you and your energy, and it just makes sense. Um, that's how I feel
It's the
about it.
bold choices that are usually the ones that get the most comments on. Not
That's right.
necessarily compliments, but they end up being a discussion because when somebody does get a good whiff, they might be intrigued and perplexed, like, you're wearing that. That's
Yes,
different.
exactly.
That happens more times than not when you step outside your comfort zone with these fragrances.
That's right.
Next
Yeah,
thing you know,
just
that's your thing. And, you're doing videos about basic bro fragrances and you're not big on blue fragrance designers. Not anybody specific that comes to mind. I'm just throwing.
whatever. Anyway, my next one up. This one might hurt a few more hearts, but again, I like all of these. So
Mhm.
this is not the definitive summation of these fragrances. Like, oh, if I don't like it, then it's not good. No, I hope that's clear. Alexandria 2.
Mm.
Super hyped. Super
Mhm.
duper hyped.
One of the most popular from the brand.
Definitely. Alexandria 2 is a good fragrance. It's not what I expected it to be. This was total blind. Total blind. And I saw that it was an oud scent. It comes, I think, from the Oud Stars collection. And when I got my nose on this, it is not very oud forward. I would say it actually. Have you tried it, Ross?
So I have Ormond Jane Zandria, which is a dead ringer for it. I have tried it, and they are extremely similar. So
Okay.
it would be crazy redundant for a
Mm,
profile I hardly ever touch for me to get Alexandria 2 because I have Zandria from Ormond Jane.
yes.
But I
Yes.
get more. It's more of an amber fragrance to me
I
as a dry.
totally see that. I see that. Yeah, it's smooth. It's a
Mhm.
smooth oud. It's not wood in your face, kind of like that dry, dark, edgy. It's nothing edgy about it. Um, honestly, I almost get a little bit of the clean, almost creamy, designer-ish vibe from Comandante. I'm not saying this smells
I
designer,
know what
but
you
if
mean.
you kind of airlift that on top of this kind of warm, smooth oud, ambery base, that's the vibe I get. It's way more welcoming than I was expecting. I was expecting a little bit more edge.
I think
No,
the
it's
approachability is one of the reasons it's so popular because it's
definitely.
outside of the maybe two or three other things that aren't just outright clone houses cloning it. The other two or
Yeah.
three that maybe smell like it, I mentioned one, Zandria from Armand Jane. They're
Yes.
very unique profiles. They're super approachable, but they're not just, I've smelled this 20 other times.
Definitely. Yeah. This is very approachable. It is special. It does smell luxurious. It does smell like a niche fragrance. It smells expensive. It smells like you spent money on it. Commandante doesn't really smell like you spent hundreds of dollars on it, but this does. And to be honest with you, I don't wear it all that much. That is mostly why it's this low. But I do like the scent, and Grace likes the scent too. So that's a big plus. When I have worn it around her, she's been like, "Ooh, what you got on?" I'm like, "Oh, this little hyped fragrance. People's talking about it, so it's good, But it is actually good. It's a good scent. I enjoy it. That is Alexandria too. I know some of y'all are like, "Why is it so low?" Just because I don't wear very much. That's all it is. But
well, I know Tommy Beat said Alexandria 2 is a masterpiece.
I did see that in all caps. Yes,
yeah,
in all caps.
And that's the beauty of this with treating something so subjective as a hobbyist.
Yeah,
because everybody's going to have different taste.
Yep.
So as soon as you say, and which you didn't say anything negative, but let's say that had been ranked last, and you're like, I just don't like it. That's one that would have really riled people up.
If you're wrong.
That's the one. If
yes.
You're wrong. It's not about your taste. Yeah, same thing. Yes. Or vice versa, where let's say my number one was this. Oh, my credibility just went out the window. You can't trust anything he says. He likes that garbage ass fragrance as his favorite Zerof. How dare him? Wow. Just as an example, because this one's not far from the most popular.
Yes.
Because it's such a subjective, taste-driven space.
It is.
But I think that's the beauty of it. To be a hobbyist and a taste-driven, very opinionated.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that is the beauty of it. And the hope is that anyone can see that and see like, oh, you like this? I don't like that. And oh, you don't like that? Well, I like that. And we're both right. And it's all good.
Nobody's wrong. I say that all the time. I'm not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm not right. I just disagree.
Exactly. That's right. All right, good sir. What's next on the lineup?
So Joel's going to be happy and sad at the same time because I saw his comment earlier about hoping this was in my top 5. It is not. Okay. We are about to talk about it. Justin, how do you feel about Wrigley's Juicy Fruit Gum, the yellow pack?
Honestly, I don't think I've had Wrigley's Juicy Fruit since like 2007, but I do have very fond memories with some
sad emojis. Dolce Amalfi.
Oh, does that smell like Wrigley's Juicy Fruit to you? Yeah. I've never tried it.
Yeah, it does. I couldn't place it at first, and then they started saying it in the chat when I was doing live unboxing. I'm like, holy crap, that is what it smells like.
Oh, yeah.
So familiar. Why don't I know this? Because you see the name and you're like, oh, this is going to be a beautiful Amalfi lemon, just rich, and the lemon's there. But it's not. It smells a little different from the note pyramid and what the name would make you believe. It is a beautiful lemon-based fragrance, but it's also very much juicy fruit gum. Okay. It's very, very good. It's pretty unique, even though I'm saying it smells like a specific gum, like everybody else seems to say. Yeah. It's actually really good. That's why Joel's so disappointed. He loves this fragrance.
Oh,
because it's different from the house, and the bottle's beautiful. It's something about the yellow,
it's gorgeous.
Blue. Beautiful, beautiful bottle with the white tassel. Really nice. Good performance. It's fruity fun, but not over the top fresh. A little bit woodsy as it dries. Not very spicy or heavy florals or anything like that. It literally smells like fruit gum.
Juicy fruit gum.
So that may sound like a turnoff. Definitely, I wouldn't say it's a dangerous blind buy because it's not a bad smell. It smells great. It's very easy to like and very approachable. It's just once you get that relation, it's like when we talk about Vicks Vapor Rub in the opening of Layton, hairspray with Dolce & Gabbana KEDP. Once you hear these things and you smell it and you're like, yes, it does, you can never get away from it. You'll never get away from Wrigley's Juicy Fruit once you hear me or anybody else say that about this. So the first time you smell it, you're going in expecting that. And it's going to smell like that now for all of you. I can almost guarantee it.
Scent association can be a curse. And as you said, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't unsmell it.
This is why we try to not hear. If we're excited about something coming out, we try to avoid everyone Because
Yeah.
once it's in here, it's not going anywhere.
You
And
know,
you're
that
gonna have
happened.
this expectation.
That happened to me with a fragrance that just came to mind years ago from Aqua de Parma. It was what was it? The black bottle. What was that black bottle?
They got a few black bottles, so that doesn't matter.
I think it was one of the. See, I gotta look. You guys know what I'm talking about? It has like neroli in it.
Sandalo concentrate.
No, it's. I cannot believe I'm forgetting this.
Travis
Is it a
said
Colonia?
Colonia Intensa.
No,
That's not a black bottle, is it?
no, that one is not a black bottle. See, I'm gonna find this. Someone might get it before me though.
Well, Monnier said Asenza. Asenza's not a black bottle. You have Asenza.
Is it a Senza?
Is it?
Hold
Asenza's
on.
not a black bottle, is it? Colonia
Uh,
black bottle. Joel said that one.
it is a Senza.
It is. I didn't think that was.
It is a Senza.
My bad.
It's Colonia Senza. Yeah, this one.
So my bad, Monnier. You were right, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I had this bottle at one time many years ago, and I sold it because I heard someone say on YouTube, I don't remember who it was, but they said, "Oh, it smells like bug spray." Then it was this particular bug spray. I don't remember which one it was, and I'm like,
Cutter or off
"Oh,
or
that's..."
something.
So then I sprayed it, and I'm like, "It does." And I couldn't wear it ever again, and I got rid of it. I've been thinking about getting it back ever since because I actually really loved it. And part of me wondered, well, maybe if I just let enough time go by, I'll come back to it and I'll be able to enjoy it. So I might still do that someday, but it ruined it for me.
So in the last couple of days, I had somebody comment in one of my videos where I said, because I don't really, it was the Fragrance World haul video. I said, because I don't know if anybody else is getting what I'm getting because I don't watch anybody. And somebody commented, yeah, right. Reviewers don't watch each other. No, man. We don't want to influence each other. We don't just influence y'all. It's the goddamn truth. Like, unless you're a dear friend of mine, him, Dedrick, people like that, I ain't watching your content. I don't want to know your opinion. I don't. Because it's going to affect what I think going into something. I'll have that expectation in my mind.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to like newer stuff or stuff that we're just getting our hands on.
If he gets something before me, I value his opinion over everyone else in this space besides my own. I ain't looking nowhere near this channel if he gets something before me. Because I know his face. What he says is going to be ironclad for me. So I avoid him like the plague. Randy, we have similar designer taste. I avoid him like the plague if he beats me to a fragrance. Yeah,
honestly, yeah, I'm the same way until I get my nose on it. You know, not watching, not listening.
There's a method to all of the madness, guys.
For sure.
Anyways, Dolce Amalfi, juicy fruit, Wrigley's gum. Yeah,
in a bottle. Lovely.
Good. The color of the bottle is very fitting. Yellow pack of gum, yellow bottle.
That's hilarious. Just nobody try to chew it. You will be disappointed.
Don't do that. Do not spray it in your mouth like Jeremy used to do. Don't do that. Ugh. I guess I'm supposed to say pause right there.
You said it. It applies. My next one up here is you definitely don't see a ton of talk about this one. This is Ivory Root.
I've never even heard of this one.
Yeah, from JTC. Join the club. And this is spice heaven. It's like all the spices all together. It's dry.
I'm sold already. What?
It's dry, warm, spicy. I don't even remember everything that's in here.
You have my attention.
I would have to look at the notes, but it's a big blend. I don't think there's a lot of cardamom in here, which some people might expect, but I know Starlight is a heavy cardamom one, which I don't have. I know a lot of people would expect to see that in a video like this.
But 2012, according to Parfumo, no note. Oh yeah, XERJOFF, they normally don't put notes anyway.
Not really. I think I may have seen them.
I think it's all join the club. There's no notes because 40 knots is like.
Yes, exactly. It says, well, at least on Fragrantica, they have aquatic notes in wood.
I think that's them taking a stab at it because XERJOFF doesn't use notes.
Yeah.
So on here, on Parfumo, anyways, 8.3 out of 10, 684 ratings. That's a high average for almost 700 ratings. It's spicy, sweet, woody, oriental, smoky.
Yeah, maybe a little smoky, not too smoky, but a little bit.
So it's like
I think there's definitely some incense, mainly incense smokiness. for sure. It's a very comforting scent, but there's also something real classy about it. I would wear this on a chill night out. You know, one where I'm still, maybe Grace and I, we go out to dinner, but maybe like go get ramen or something. We're not going somewhere super nice or upscale, but I want something that feels still a little bit like, you know, higher presenting and a little classy, but not serious. It's good stuff. And it doesn't really remind me exactly of anything else. So it does have a little bit of uniqueness, but it's still very approachable. It's an easy to wear spicy scent, great for the fall. Don't see a ton of talk about it. Really good stuff.
I've never even heard of this fragrance until now. Nobody's ever brought it to my attention before.
Might have to get the sample. It's good stuff. Has anybody
Might have
else
to do another decant
tried
swap.
it? I feel like I've seen review. Yes, we
Mhm.
just might. I think I've seen reviews of people saying it smells like red hots or hot tamales or something to them. Thankfully, I've eaten a lot of those and I don't get that vibe. So that's a scent
Yeah, I
association
was
that did
about to.
not.
I like hot tamales, but I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to smell like hot tamale.
No, it doesn't smell. To me, I don't get
When I
that
think
vibe.
red hots, I think artificial cinnamon, big red gum,
Yes.
stuff like that. You know?
Yes. Yeah. It's not like that. It's not like super cinnamon forward. It's warmer. It's more nuanced than that. Excuse me, Sir Ramen is here.
Gotta love
Hey
that.
man, I love me some ramen. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, we can move on. What you got?
Well, I think this being ranked where it is may upset a few people. I don't know. We'll see. They've been good sports about it so
Yeah, you
far.
guys have been doing well. We appreciate it.
I want to say this could be overlap. I think you have this. I could be wrong,
Okay.
but this is probably their most iconic green citrus fragrance. And I'm not talking about Renaissance. I'm talking about
Okay.
Neo. Zerof Neo.
I've tried it. I had a decant years back. I don't have it though.
You don't have it. Okay.
I
So
don't have
this
Neo.
very popular. This is
Yes.
springtime in a bottle right here, sir.
Every time I talk about
Right,
Renaissance,
right,
people
greens and
say
citrus.
Neo's better. That's the one comment I see. Neo's
And I
better.
disagree because we haven't gotten Renaissance yet. Because Renaissance is ranked higher. But
Yes.
I will not throw salt on this fragrance. I will not kick dirt on this bottle. This is damn good. If you are very seasonal with your fragrances like I am, if it's a green herb dominant fragrance, I'm only wearing it in the spring. That is what this is for me. Aqua Celestia Forte, Torino 21, fragrances of that nature. John Barbados Artisan Blue, which is not a blue fragrance, it's a green fragrance.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
still blows my mind. They colored it blue, called it blue, and it's as green as it gets.
It's so green.
Yeah,
Great scent.
stuff like that. Just green dominance, which this is, and this is masterfully done as well. Quality's great. Doesn't come across over the top synthetic, even in the dry down with the musk and the woods. This is great for the spring. Semi-casual situation. You can wear it with a t-shirt, but I think brunch, maybe things going out and about, having something to do with your significant other, business meetings for you business professionals. That's where this really shines as far as situations, I think. And just springtime. So that's why I say semi-casual. Anywhere's from very casual up to business professional can get some joy out of this. Another one, great. I mean, there's no slouch in performance in any of these. I don't even think I think it's kind of pointless to even touch on performance unless it's like over the top strong.
Yes.
They're all really good performers.
They are.
Even though, as he likes to say, your mileage may vary, which it will.
Yeah.
The overall consensus is XERJOFF, no weak fragrances for the most part.
Definitely.
And this one's no exception to that. What are your thoughts on this when you try it?
I had a decant. This was probably 4 years ago, and that was probably the last time I smelled it. And I remember liking it. I remember not loving it. I don't remember why though. So I would say I need more information. I need to revisit it. I remember the first spray. I was like, oh. It had this very clear identity to it. It was just green, a little soft and floral in the background, kind of dewy in a way. So I need to revisit it. I've had so many people ask me over the past couple years, why isn't Neo here? Have you tried Neo? And I would always say, oh yeah, it's not my favorite. And then I'm like, wait, is it really not my favorite? I don't know it that well. I tried it once. I need to try it again. So more to
So
come on
literally
that.
all the comments are, oh, I actually see one person make it make sense. Bottles and beer said Renaissance is better than Neo. The rest have
It's
said
all
what I
Neo's
thought, that
better.
Neo's better.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's what I was saying.
that's the divisive one back and forth. And
It
guys,
is.
take it from a guy who owns both. It's okay to own both.
Yes. Yeah,
They're
they're
not
not the
They're
same.
both citrus and green, but they're different citrus. And then Renaissance is full of mint.
Exactly.
So they're similar, but they are not the same. Not super redundant.
I shall revisit.
You should. So it's worth it. I don't disagree with everyone. You know, they're both, when it comes to their fresh fragrances, I think there's a hard argument about that being probably their two best with Neo and Renaissance. I think it's hard to argue against those.
Yeah, I got to try it again. My interest is peaked. I'm going to find me another decan or something.
And
Okay.
One, like Art just mentioned, yeah, that goes right in that same family. That's another one, green. That's in the same. The reason I don't own that is I find it's just wildly similar to Aqua Celestia Forte, plus it's a spicier green.
Okay.
So I find it's too redundant to it, and I don't wear that enough. I wear that in the spring, so I'd rather just keep wearing that. That's why I don't know. Torino 21 is phenomenal, and if I didn't have the MFK, I probably would have Torino 21.
Strangely enough, I still have yet to try Torino 21.
It is really good.
I still haven't tried it. So one day I will try that. I think I've tried to buy it once or twice, and it was like sold out or wasn't the price I was looking for. So it just hasn't worked out.
Every time the fragrance like it flies off the
totally.
shelf.
Okay, my next one up. Brand new release, hot off the press, more or less. Iomi. And people have been telling me I've been saying this wrong.
Deified.
I think is it Iomi?
Tony, I've been saying Iomi.
I've been saying it for a while, and I get comments in all caps. Will you say his name right? Like, why don't you go?
People get so upset.
I'm like,
I had somebody
alive. Come on back.
Today tell me I should take a French class to help with the pronunciation since so many fragrances are in French. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
You should take a French class.
Yeah, that was great.
I will not be doing that.
I will not be doing that, sir.
It'll be fine. These companies will still make money from our suggestions. They'll be all right.
I spelled it right on the screen.
Yes.
That's all.
Iomi deified. Thank you, Tommy Beats, for making it clear. Yes. So I've had this fragrance for several months now, but I only really started wearing it within the past month or so, and I've worn it 2 or 3 times. And that's why it is, it's kind of middle of the list here. It's probably my newest to my XERJOFF collection, but I've given it a handful of wearings almost, and the batting average is good. I like this stuff. I see a lot of people saying they don't like this because it smells nothing like Monkey Special.
But would you want it to smell so much like it to where it's redundant?
Monkey Special is such it's a very definitive fragrance. It's its own thing, it's its own world. It smells fantastic. It's very rich and opulent, and I couldn't imagine what they would do. What did he say? Oh, Chad is saying French. Oui. Yeah, thank you for the super chat as well. I feel like it would be an injustice to try to do a flanker to it. Like, what would you do to it exactly? It's like, it's great the way it is. So, I mean, I wouldn't, in terms of the overlap, the way they smell, they really have none. But I think ingredient wise, there's probably some things you could draw between them, but they don't smell the same. They don't have the same scent experience. But this one, guys, if you haven't tried it, man, this is a strong, rich, and dark. Oh, there it is. Leather. And
yeah, mine's ranked a little bit higher, but I figure since you're talking about it, I might.
Yeah. Leather. I get some fruitiness.
It's not much
spices.
Two more spots.
The one thing I don't have. It looks like you don't have this little thing. Oh, no, did you take that off?
Yeah, I pulled that off.
See, I should pull it off because I'm like,
I didn't like how it looked. You can see where it was, but you see the adhesive.
Yes, totally.
I didn't.
I'm gonna pull that off when we're done.
But I love the little skulls in there.
It's cool. The whole vibe is cool. It smells great. This is such a great cold weather
Dark
fragrance.
leather.
Yes.
Oh, not. I
Man.
could see why some people wouldn't like this. This ain't for everyone.
It's not. I
No.
mean, it has this heftiness to it. It has this texture. There's a little
Mhm.
bit of edge. Gosh, that leather. I think there's
This
woods in
bomber jacket
there.
right here.
It's good
Kind
stuff.
of the
So
way I would wear Dior Homme Parfum is how I would wear this.
sure, I could see that.
Very
I
similar.
could see that.
Like with the way I approach the fragrance, very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, cold weather, I'd wear it at night. It does have bad boy vibes, but there's just a lot of there's complexity here. It doesn't really smell like anything else, at least that I've tried. I could maybe draw a couple things here and there that are very small components, but beyond that, it's a great scent. It's if you can, pull your mind away from Monkey Special, then I think you'll love it. If you've never tried Monkey Special, then you'll probably appreciate it.
It's
If you like
so
these kind of scents.
assertive. I think it's
Yeah.
definitely a less is more fragrance. I think you
Definitely.
can be overwhelming with this one. No matter
Yeah.
how much you may love this heavy spray, I think start smaller with something like this because it might literally be overwhelming for you.
Yeah,
You know?
it lasts. In fact, I remember the last time I wore it, Grace
Very
and I,
thick.
we went out, and she was loving it. She was complimenting it all night, like over and over. And I want to say, yeah, came home, went to bed by 8, 9 a.m. the next morning. It was pumping. Like, first of all, I had to change my pillowcase because it was still all up in there.
Yeah.
So this stuff it's not going away. It'll be there till the bitter end. Chad, almost at 100K. Early congrats. Chad, thank you so much, man.
I'm gonna listen to your text audio after this, Chad. Lots of love,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Glad you're able to come hang with us for a little bit.
Yeah.
Great to hear from you.
Good to see you. Thanks for hanging
I'll
out,
hit you up
Chad.
tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah, appreciate you, Chad. It's an OG, everybody.
It's my guy.
OG.
One of my favorite channels. Still. That
Yes,
sexy bald
indeed.
bastard.
All right, Ross, what's your next one here?
So the final of the 3-pack of the 15 ml mini bottles.
Oh, yeah.
This is one that I was well familiar with. This is the reason I bought the pack because it was like $90, I think, from Fragrance Buy, and I knew the other two I'd like, but it was mainly like I don't need more than 15 ml of Herbapura. Let me get it. So this is Herbapura.
I didn't know it came in a little bottle like that.
Yep, these three came together.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Herbapura.
They have a few different ones. They got like 4 or 5 different 15 ml 3-packs.
Oh, cool.
Different scents. Like it's really the way to go for people with larger collections. 15 ml goes a long way, and it's legitimately the little bottle.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, and it sprays and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously this one, incredible hype on this.
Man,
the hype is through the roof. Like what is your take?
Fruity dominant fragrances. Now, let me ruin it for you. For those of you that have never tied this together, some of you know where I'm going with this. Fructis shampoo and conditioner.
Garnier.
It does have a little bit of that early on. There's only one clone of it I've ever smelled that doesn't have it. It's from Dumont. That actually doesn't have the Fructis tie-in. That's what I think gives it that feminine tone that people smell. Is it smells like women's bath products in some ways. The way the fruitiness comes, like I said, that Fructis shampoo kind of thing. But very tropical, very easy to like. It does get a little powdery on my skin. I do think for what it is, it does lean a little feminine, but it's a guilty pleasure aroma. I love it. Honestly, I prefer a different niche fragrance to this that's similar. It's Montal's Herbal Aquatica. It adds an aquatic tone and mint to this profile. Really elevates it. I think Pierre Montal did it better personally.
Okay.
Throwing that out there. That's why I didn't need more than 15 mLs, because there's something very similar I prefer, but I still wanted to have it to just reach forward, give a little spray on the hand once in a while. It's not anything I just throw 5 or 6 sprays on and go on about my day. It's a one spray on the hand just to enjoy. I do that with a bunch of different fragrances. I think this one deserves respect. That's why it's one I wanted to add. And I think 15 ml was the right amount. I'll never go through the 15 ml. And
You
it
know,
gets a lot of hype, but at the same time, it gets a lot of hate. I've
it
noticed
sure
it's very
does.
polarizing.
Yeah. I haven't tried Herba Pura in probably 6 years. That was the last time I smelled it. It's a scent I will never forget. I can literally like conjure it in my head and in my nose. I remember it was too much for me at the time. I just had a sample, and I think I just wore that sample one day, maybe in like the early fall or something, and it was like I had to shower. It was too much. I didn't dislike it.
I
I
heard
just think
Herba Gold even better. I haven't tried it.
I've heard that too. I don't dislike it. I think I just miswore it. So need to revisit some
It can
Herbapura.
be headache inducing if you spray it together. The
Mhm.
first time I wore it, I did like 7 or 8 sprays, and it was a little too much for me. Honestly,
Mm,
gave me a little bit of a headache. It's like when I
mm.
first got it, I was like, "Oh, I definitely need to wear this. This is the reason I bought this set, was this fragrance." And I wore like, I think it was 7 or 8 sprays, and it literally an hour in started giving me a minor headache, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good." Lesson
Mm,
learned. 3 or 4 just behind the neck,
yeah.
because I did like on the forearms. I didn't do anything in front of the chest, but it was enough to radiate to stay in my nose the whole time. It gave me a headache.
Yes. Less is more once again. Less
Yeah.
is more. So it strikes again with Zerof. What's up, Liz? Good to see you.
It's always good to see Lizzie.
Herbapura only on paper strip. Fragrance doesn't sit well on my skin. Had to rub it off. Too musky. All right. Yeah, I got to try that gold. I heard good things
Yeah,
about it.
Spencer said, "Don't even revisit Herbapore. If it was too much, it hasn't changed. Herba Gold is much more well-rounded." That's I hear
Okay.
so much more praise for Herba Gold. I need to. I'm just gonna blind buy it one day.
Mm,
Eventually, when we're doing one of those live stream shopping adventures, I did one
yeah,
like 2 weeks ago. I'll just buy it. It's
I
not
got to try
crazy
it again.
overpriced. Mid 100s, I think you can get a bottle.
Mm,
Like
I'm
I'll
gonna
blind buy
revisit
niche
it.
in the mid 100s if I'm interested in it enough. It's when we start going over $200. Like, I want to sample it first.
Yep, that's
I'm
right.
down with the risk with fragrance, but there's a certain stopping point for my money for the risk.
Yes, I get that. Yeah, because we want to love it.
I
That's
want
the
to very
goal.
much enjoy it, especially
Yeah.
once we start hitting $200. It's going to be something I want to tell you guys is great.
Yes.
Not, I wish I wouldn't have bought it. I don't really wear it. It doesn't really speak to me. Wish I wouldn't have spent $230 on it.
Yes. Like
Moral of
230.
the story, guys, sample first.
Yes,
That's what that
exactly.
video would have to be. So I try to avoid it.
Whew. Okay.
What do you
My
got?
next one here is a little polarizing. I think there's people who don't like this, and I understand why. This is, I'd say, the second least appreciated from the 1861 line. The first one being Decas. No one really talks about Decas,
It's
but
gotten a little love recently, though.
really,
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of love recently.
okay. Zafiro is
From
here.
Dedrick, actually.
Okay. Yeah, Zafiro. I really, really like this stuff, but I understand why people wouldn't. So Zafiro actually does smell a little bit similar to Ivory Root. They have some overlap, mainly the incense and kind of this warm spiciness, like this warm woody spiciness in the base.
Mm-hmm.
They share that foundation, but on top of Zafiro, it's a little bit brighter, a little bit more open, more like letting sunlight through the window kind of vibes. There's
Speaking
like,
of, is the sun still up for you? It looks like it is. Or
oh
is that
yeah,
your
it's
Yeah.
still up.
Just goes to show how far apart we are. It is 6:21 for him. It is 8:21 nice and dark for me.
Yeah.
I want to point that out. You mentioned sunlight, and I'm looking at the sunlight on your face. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not as lighting.
That's not the light. I mean,
Sorry
for
to
now,
interrupt, but you
it's all
hit me
good.
with the right setup for it.
Yeah, so I think there's a white wine accord at the top of this, which is not something you
Wandy
see
just
very
mentioned
often.
this comment, just mentioned it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that vibe. It's a dry white wine feel. It's a little bit like, if I just look at the wine accord, it's a little fruity, but not that sweet, more like a tart fruitiness, dry, no bubbles here. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful scent. That incense backing, the smokiness of that is really kind of what defines it as it dries on the skin. You do have to like incense to like Zafiro. But it is a lighter incense. It's a more transparent incense at the end of the day. Very, very elegant stuff, but specific. You may not like it if you don't like a specific type of scent.
Fair enough.
That's Zafiro for me. Yeah, not a whole lot of love for, but
Never tried it.
I think people who do love it really love it, and that's just the nature of polarization. People really hate it when they don't like it. So, but anyway, what you got next, sir?
My next one's one that's kind of like that. Not a whole lot of people seem to enjoy it. I rated it very highly, 9.5 when I did a full review on it. First quarter of 2020, I believe I did a full review. This is one that I think you do it a favor when you dress it up a bit.
Okay.
It's very floral based, very purple floral, iris and hyacinth, pineapple and musk. We're talking Acento.
Okay.
I love Acento.
I don't think I've tried it.
Oh, they have so many versions. They have the super dose, the overdose. They got like 3 or 4 of them. Suspiro's version.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I think the Suspiro one was before this one, actually.
Yes.
God, that still makes me smile every time I smell it. It's so good. So fruity, floral, and musky. This begs you to dress it up. I get phenomenal performance on this. 5 sprays, I'm filling rooms.
Okay.
It screams
feeling
off
paint.
It screams off. I literally, when I worked at Toyota, the new car manager he had like an old batch of Aventus. 2 sprays, he was filling the sales office every day. So I'm gonna fix his ass on Saturday. I'm wearing a Cinto. I think if I do 5 sprays, I'll drown him out. And I did. And he was the first person to ask me, "Oh, Ross, hey man, what you wearing today, man? What's the
Oh man, that's so great."
Like I can't even smell me. What you wearing? He was the first person. Because that's where some of you heard me say it before, when you get in management in the car business, you get your Rolex, you get your bottle of Aventus. That's
okay.
That's you know what I mean? It's a meme in the Texas car market.
Yeah.
So any of you that ever worked in the car market, you've had a manager that wears Aventus in a Submariner. But that was a very specific scenario. But that's kind of me really knowing the performance. I'd really learned the fragrance at that point. That was when I was really in the review process for it. That's why I understood, 5 sprays, I could drown him out. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
That's a funny little story for that. But, over the years, I haven't seen it really get any love. Now it's fallen down a little bit, my list, as I've added more XERJOFFs over the years. This was literally my first XERJOFF. I won this at 2019 Scent Explorer when we were there that night. Those giveaways, I won this.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
man, I don't think I knew that.
A memento. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, when they were calling the tickets and everything, you were somewhere else. I wasn't with you at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was.
So
not there.
Doing the raffle ticket calls and everything.
Oh, okay.
And beautiful fragrance. So this is my memento from that as well.
Memento is a Trento.
So purple's a fitting color to this because I think it's very purple floral because you get just as much hyacinth as you do iris. And even though it's very flower dominant, I don't think it's the most powdery thing out there. I've got much stronger powder bombs based off tonka bean, for example, or rose, But I think this has a true classiness to it. I don't think you're doing any favors. I think you're very underdressed. Like how I'm dressed now, if I was to spray this on, I think I'm being disrespectful to the perfumer. Because I'd be very underdressed for this fragrance. Some fragrances, you know where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah.
You guys watching. Some you feel like you need to dress it up if you're going to wear it, which being situational, that means sometimes fragrances are going to sit depending on your lifestyle.
That's right.
Very casual lifestyle, stuff like this kind of sits. But if you're looking to dress to the nines and stand out, this is one of those fragrances that we spoke about earlier with Quattro Pisi, about the more feminine leaning fragrances, which I still don't think this is that feminine. I think Quattro Pisi is more feminine than this, but the bolder fragrance choices really make you stand out in the situation. This is one of those types of fragrances. Fruity, musky, and heavy, heavy purple flowers. Beautiful stuff.
I got to try it now, man.
It's so good, man. It really is.
Wow. Yeah, and I totally know what you mean about, it's intuitive. when you smell something, you just know, like, oh yeah, this t-shirt, this ain't gonna work.
This ain't gonna
You
work.
just
No.
know. And frankly, we can share with you guys how we feel about situational fragrances and what's going to be right for which situation, but it's really up to you guys. You have to decide for yourself. When you smell it, you just know. You got to follow your own intuition, and it will tell you, what's going to be best for your lifestyle and whatnot. So this is just what we do. Some of you guys might be like, oh yeah, I wear a gentle to the gym. I'll be like, all right.
I know. I've
Who you
smelled
think?
Montals in the
Yeah,
gym. Of course, I smell
yeah,
Baccarat Rouge 10 Ways to Sunday. I
yes.
smell Ultra Male in the gym, surprisingly more than you would think. And
Wow.
usually it's 9 p.m. because I'll ask him. I've asked the dude recently, Ultra Male at 9 p.m. And he looked at me like I was crazy, like, how do you know? And then he said 9 p.m. Strong. That's all the gym smells like is you, partner.
Yeah.
But clubbing fragrance. Hey, let's go lift some weights.
Yes, seriously.
It plays into your point. But yeah, it's an oddball situation where I like to be situationally appropriate and
Yeah.
dress the right situation for the right fragrance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm also of the attitude of wear whatever the hell you want whenever you want.
Sure.
Sure, there's appropriation, but that's not definitive and
Exactly.
ingrained in stone. You can do whatever
Exactly.
you're confident enough to do.
Yeah, there's no way to quantify it. You can't say, oh, because this fragrance smells like this, you can only wear it at this time. And it's like, says what? How do you measure that? Right. So follow your intuition. That's your best guide. You know when you know. I gotta try that one. That's next on the list for me. I'm gonna put that on my sample list.
I think you would enjoy it. It's definitely something I could see you wearing to a gig.
Okay.
Very much. The way you dress for a lot of your gigs, it would really work.
My next one up here is a darling, for sure. It is related to one of your previous selections.
Oh, really?
OG Udin.
Ooh.
The
Okay.
original Udin. Have you tried the OG?
Yes.
Okay.
It is very good.
This is nice stuff.
I do prefer the Overdose. I just haven't spent a lot of time with it.
I still haven't tried Overdose, so I need to do that. But Udin, the OG, man, it's beautiful. It's an uplifting scent profile. It is bright. It is kind of citrusy.
Right.
Yeah, lemony. There is a sweetness in there, but it's like a creamy, smooth, vanillic sweetness. I think there's maybe some coffee, maybe a little bit of booziness in there. There's just like this beautiful mixture of things that come together to have this bright identity, but one with substance. It's more than just a fresh, bright citrus that you can wear in the summer. I would not wear this on the hottest days. I would wear this on more milder days, day or night. Honestly, it works for great for both for me. And honestly, dressed up or down. I feel like it really just kind of encompasses so many occasions, especially ones that are more in the middle where you can have versatility. I wouldn't call it like a specialty kind of fragrance. Like, oh yeah, my go-to when when I'm going to the beach. Like, it's not Udin. It's less polarized than that. So I love the way it makes me feel. People say it smells a little bit like a Chanel, and I see what they mean. It almost has this blend of Allure Homme with Allure Homme Edition Blanche, kind of both of them together. I can see that vibe, but it's its own thing at the end of the day. And I dig it. I appreciate it. I understand why others appreciate it as well. It's been around a while. It's good stuff.
Indeed. So my next spot was going to be Deified.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to let you guys know, I rank it number 5 out of my 13. Yeah. But we'll move into number 4 because I actually have 2 more than Justin, anyways. Plus, we had the overlap. Right. So technically, it's 3 more, I think.
I've got 3 more. I've got 3 more.
You do. So I only have 1 more then. Okay, so it works out. Okay. On top of you, I have 1 more than you have. Okay. Now this one is going to be overlap for us. I know you have a bottle of this.
Mm-hmm. I know what it is.
I'm a big fan. I think if you're going to give one XERJOFF a try, that's easy to wear, has a lot of nuance to it and personality, very likable, known to be a compliment getter for most, 40 Knots is the fragrance for you to try. I'm such a fan. Now, there's no real note breakdown on the internet, but I get a mix of woods, spices, aquatic, and salt. And I just get all these different things, sweet, that just maybe don't sound like it works when you mention all these accords together, but it makes for one damn enjoyable aroma.
It's so
I'm
good.
Such a fan of this.
It's so good.
Thoughts?
I blind bought it. Because I was seeing so much hype about it, but I was seeing people in the comments saying, "Oh, you got to try 40 knots, try 40 knots." But I wasn't actually reading reviews, so I didn't know exactly what to expect from the scent. I just assumed, oh, it's probably going to be an aquatic, and
I did too.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this is not really
way deeper than that.
Yeah, it is this ambery, borderline powdery, woody, sweet. Aquatic.
Sweeter than you would think.
Yeah, people compare it to Dior Ombre Nuit, and
I've never tried that.
That's a beautiful fragrance, worth trying, but honestly, maybe not worth owning if you already have 40 knots, because they are pretty dang similar. And people say, and I would agree, that 40 knots is stronger than Dior. But the Dior, I mean, it's like the difference between 8 hours and 15. It's like 8 is still good, kind of thing.
That's not trash, bro. I want the one. I need people to smell me while I'm sleeping at my house.
I need people to be able to follow me home after I got home an hour ago.
Dog to leave the room because my sillage is too strong.
Anyway, yes, 40 knots is great. Great stuff. Just to spoil it, it is my number 2. So when we get there, I'll just put it up on screen and I'll keep it moving. Yeah.
So shout outs to my man Devin, who sent this my way, because he's like, you need to try this. I don't wear it. I know you'll appreciate it. I'm not accepting no for an answer. I want to send it your way. That's how I got this bottle. This was a gift from a longtime subscriber.
Yeah, I think you got it before me, and I remember you started raving about it, and I was like, I
almost wore it, but I was like, but then it popped in my head to wear Brass and Soul.
Oh,
I almost wore it for today for the stream specifically. I was like, I should wear a XERJOFF, and then I was like, no, I should wear one of his fragrances. We haven't done a stream in months.
Man, I appreciate it.
That's literally how that went. I think I even had the conversation with myself out loud. What's XERJOFF? I'm like, wait, I need to wear one of these. So,
Jonathan Madsen. Jonathan, are you talking about 40 knots? Because I don't know.
He's joking. He's joking.
Okay. I was like,
that's one of my longtime subscribers. He's trying to be cheeky right now. He's not serious.
That is hilarious. Okay. I think I'm up next.
I can't stop pulling the cap and stuff.
Hey man, when I get there, I'm gonna do my fair share. So don't you worry. My next one up here is a classic from the house. OG Mephisto. And I'll just
say where that's at for me, but clearly we haven't gotten to it yet.
And honestly, and I've said this several times in videos, I prefer Gentle Uomo.
Oh, I thought you were about to say that over Silver Mountain Water. That's why I was going to agree.
Oh, I do prefer this over Silver Mountain Water as well.
Same.
I prefer Gentle Uomo to this. I just don't own Gentle Uomo. I've always liked Gentle Uomo more, but we're going to talk about this because I know some people will ask, "You have Gentle Uomo?" I don't have it. One day I will.
We'll speak on it in a moment.
Yes, I'm sure we will, because I know there's a bow tie on that end of the camera. I'm sure.
We only have my side, and that's 2 of the 3 right there.
Okay. Yeah. Mephisto is good stuff, man.
Their freshies are incredible is the moral of my story. I think their freshies are amazing.
Man, it's like Silver Mountain Water is good. It's really good. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I've always liked it. My wife loves it as well.
You're back.
I was like, oh, what's going on? But this is just better to me. This is just it has just more presence. It has more going on. The personality of it is just more interesting. Also more approachable, I would say, than Silver Mountain Water. Not quite as inky. It's more green and fresh. I think people might technically call it a fougere, which
I don't agree.
I could see that kind of, but
I get no green.
I feel like that pigeonholes it. I feel like it's something different. And yeah, more green, very fresh, kind of icy, cooling in a way, but just classy stuff. But also versatile. Like I feel like you could wear this anywhere, anytime. This is signature scent, worthy stuff if you
Do you
really,
like
really do
compliments?
love it.
Here's the question that I have for you on if you're deciding should you sample Mephisto. Now, can I guarantee these things? Of course I cannot. But can I tell you that the probability is much greater than most fragrances in my personal experience? That I can definitely do.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, that's all I got to say about Mephisto. It's good stuff. It's been talked about a lot. It's nothing new, but it's beautiful stuff.
For me,
oh boy,
one of my favorite mint fragrances ever, and one of their best freshies.
Oh yes,
I love it. It's so good.
Oh,
the first time I
yes.
tried it, I was like, yes, eventually I need to own this. And another one I only wear in the spring because it's so green. If you have a green dominance, whether it's fresh, dry, spicy, whatever, I'm wearing you in the spring. That's just how it works.
Man,
this is so good. I understand the argument between this and Neo. A lot of you like Neo more. All good. I wouldn't be mad at it if I was to swap them out right now and say I like Neo better, because it's really a toss-up when we start getting into the top like 6 or 7 I have over here. It's a big-time toss-up. If we were to do this in the fall, I might have a different lineup. If we did it in the spring, Neo might be number 2.
Sure.
Ahead of this at number 3, because I'll be more in that green fragrance mode at the time. So
sure,
it varies, guys, when it comes down to stuff you enjoy. We enjoy all, well, except for the tail end. Justin doesn't like 1888. Don't let him lie to you.
Whatever. It's a good scent.
I'm joking. This is one that I highly encourage everyone try, just like I do with 40 knots. It's another dip your toe into the house kind of fragrance. It's a safe move to try this one. Naxos, a safe move to try. That's probably the 3, counting Mephisto. I'll say that's the 4 that are probably the safest to dip your toe into the house, that are really easy to understand and to like, and there's no challenge. There's nothing real different and wild about them. But they're very enjoyable. Naxos, Renaissance, Mephisto, and 40 knots. You can understand more through their freshies before you dive into their heavier stuff, I think is the moral of why I'm saying this. Would you?
I would agree. Yeah, because not only are their freshies very approachable, but they are special. And they're great quality, and they're super enjoyable just for even you as a wearer. Like, they're just interesting, and they just keep your attention, and they're just really, really well done.
These frosted bottles are gorgeous too.
And they're just fantastic to look at. When it comes to this Neo versus Renaissance debate, honestly, again, I can't speak definitively because I need to revisit Neo, but I don't think we can really say one is better than the other. It's a matter of taste, because we know they're both phenomenal, obviously. That's why people pit them together so much. So I think the better way to say it is, I like Renaissance more than Neo. Because saying one is better than the other is just not accurate. It's just not correct.
Honestly, I think the way I'd look at it is, realistically, if you like one, you'll probably like the other.
Yeah,
they're
totally.
Cousins, very much cousins.
Totally, and you still might like one more than the other, but they're both great. Your taste caters to one over the other, and doesn't make the other one lesser or anything like that.
And my favorite thing about the mint in this one is it's clearly a mint leaf. It's not mint gum. It's not toothpaste. It's not spearmint, which I love the spearmint oil and enclave. That's probably, dare I say, the best, just over the top mint fragrance I've ever smelled. because of the resins and the incense and just the way the enclave special.
Ooh,
When we're talking
yeah.
mint, that's on its own tier.
Yes,
But
it is.
aside from that, the authenticity of the mint leaf that I get out of this, it's not a very synthetic smelling fragrance. I don't get that unnatural, like a designer mint. You know, that's what makes me appreciate this one so much.
Definitely.
It's more
Well
of a mint
said.
fragrance to me than it is a citrus fragrance, even though it's just as much a citrus fragrance. It's because I appreciate the type of mint accord that I get so much.
Well said. Well said. Spoiler, that is coming up on my list, but I think everyone already knew that. Yeah, we sure do. Because my next one, my next one, I'm not going to say anything because you already said it is 40 knots. I think 40 knots just really skyrocketed in terms of my taste. When I first smelled it, I was like, what am I smelling? I wore it, and then I fell in love immediately on that first wearing. And since then, it's incredible. But it's like not blind buy safe, because it may not be what you could possibly expect. And yeah, it's just not your typical aquatic by any stretch.
I don't think it's your typical anything.
Really.
I don't think you can pigeonhole it to a very specific aromatic class. Because it touches a lot of aromatic profiles.
It does. It's such a beautiful scent, man. I love wearing it pretty much all year outside of the dead heat. I'm not going to wear this on the hottest day, but any other time. Really well, yeah, evenings is great. It just works really well in the in the breeze, when the breeze catches it. I see myself
I love how you
out here on camera.
And then when it catches up, it fast forwards you.
Yes, I'm seeing that. I'm like, dude.
Instead of just cutting to where you're at,
it's like, just in case you guys missed everything that happened, here it is, 3 times as fast.
Face looks like times 3.
Okay, let's move on. I got one more. So you got 2 more?
I got 2 more.
Okay, go for it.
That actually works out perfect, because we'll finish with the greatest XERJOFF of all time.
Oh, allegedly.
Allegedly. Exactly.
Yes.
In my opinion. The Mephisto Gentleman.
Oh, man.
It's so beautiful, the color of this blue. And I actually don't hardly ever touch it, believe it or not. Once in a while, I remember like, hey, I have this incredibly fresh fragrance. Because one thing that I can say that this has over pretty much all other fresh fragrances I own is it's just as fresh in the first spray as it is 10 hours later.
It sure is.
It manages to never lose that level of fresh. This is a true Stay Fresh production right here.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's the prettiest bottle too. It's the color blue with the metallic color.
It's a great flanker.
It's aquatic. It's a little powdery. It's clean and soapy. It's all of the elements of the original, but it's more aquatic. It's more focused around that watery feel than Mephisto is. Mephisto's more about metallic and floral and musky, whereas this is just aquatic, like in your face, super mega fresh, watery accord musk. You still get the other elements, but they're kind of muted versus those being heightened.
Definitely. Oh yeah, I can smell it now. I'm getting a bottle of this at some point. It's so good, man. So good.
And as far as I know, the only one that comes with the bow tie, not a tassel.
The little bow tie.
I don't know if any other one does, and it's also a different tone of blue. That's what I love. You get multiple colors.
Oh yes. Attention to detail.
Yeah, I love it. Because the tassels, they look cool, but they're kind of a pain in the ass. I leave them on, but I kind of just put it to the back.
They do get in the way.
Because if it's dangling, it'll get in the way when you're trying to spray it.
You spray the tassel. That tassel smells
This is a lot of people's favorite fresh fragrance from them, and I totally get it.
Yeah.
The original resonates with me a little bit more, but we're not talking about a wide margin here.
Yeah.
And yes, it is redundant to have both, but if you really love one, you're going to really love and want the other. I truly believe that. At least that's how I felt. I got Mephisto first, and I felt like I had originally sampled Gentle Uomo first. This is the first one I tried. Then I had a decant of the original, and that's when I made the decision I need both. Did I
I feel
really
like
need both? No, but I really needed both.
and yes, I know how it goes. That's the logic. That's as deep as it goes.
Yeah, I sure don't need these, but boy, do I need these.
That explains it all,
Yes.
man.
It makes
So yeah,
absolutely no sense, but all of the
all
sense
the
at the same
sense.
time.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. Well, this is my number one. No need to beat around the bush.
I'm not gonna argue with you. My
I've
top
tried to
four
like,
are interchangeable.
yeah. I mean,
My top four and your top four are pretty, well, your top three and my top four are the same.
yes, there it is. The freshies, man, they just work. Except for 49, it's not really a freshie, but
It's got elements though.
yeah, elements for sure. Renaissance, I mean, I don't really need to describe the scent any more than you did. I will say that why I love this fragrance kind of stems back years. I did a review on my channel. This was probably 2017, and I reviewed this
Was
fragrance
that
from a
Beanie
decan.
Justin? That was Beanie Justin, right?
I didn't
That
have a
era.
beanie at least in
Well, not in
that
that
era.
video. That was that era,
Yes,
though. That's
that
Beanie
era for
Justin era
sure.
at the beginning. For any
Definitely.
of you that haven't been here long term, Beanie
Yes.
Justin was like
Beanie Justin.
Beanie Justin. Go back to his old videos. Do yourself a favor and go watch Diorum Intense
Yes.
versus Diorum Parfum.
Oh my gosh,
Thank
dude.
me later. It's my favorite.
It's the most innocent video ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I reviewed this from a decant in my car, and I just remember just having such a great time reviewing it. That video was fun to shoot. I remember like some girl got in her car next to me while I was filming, and she was looking at me funny. But this just takes
Funny
me back
how
to
stuff
that
like
time.
that don't even phase you now, huh?
Yeah, it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this takes me back to that time, to much simpler times in some ways. And honestly, I loved it back then from that decant. I think I probably finished it. It was a little 5 mil. And it took me until I think 2022 is when I finally got this bottle. So it took some years to finally come around to getting a bottle, even though I knew I loved it. And it was one of those fragrances that I loved it as much as I remembered, because sometimes that doesn't happen, especially when there's years in between. And especially when we're talking like the beginnings of your, real journey where you're really diving
your
in.
palate developed a lot from that review to 2020.
Seriously. But when I got my nose on this full bottle a couple years ago, I'm like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I remember. And that just speaks to the fragrance, at least for me. So yeah, citrusy and bright, lots of mint. I love the dry down because it gets kind of musky, ambery in a way, but still kind of fresh at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just lasts all day, and it's phenomenal stuff. Very, very easy to wear. So enough said about Renaissance. I think we are on to the best from the house.
At least in my opinion. And the thing is, we already spoke on it. But instead of the 1 ounce bottle, we're going to look at the 100 milliliter bottle of Mephisto.
Wow, you got the big boy.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Twisted Lily.
Wow.
This was a couple years ago. Just like the other day when I got Veranda, they reached out and were like, hey, would you like to review something from the fall collection? And I looked at what was available. This was a spring collection a couple years ago. And I saw it. I was about halfway through a 10 ml. I was currently talking about this on my channel. And I saw it was available. I said, I'll take Mephisto. And yeah, this is one of the biggest hits of this household. This is one of my wife's 5 favorite fragrances that I wear.
Wow.
This is our favorite DNA as a couple for me to wear. She loves when I wear anything Mephisto or Silver Mountain Water. That and the Fierce DNA, so Percival stuff. Obviously, Percival's a hit in this house. But this is the one. We both agree, me and the wife, superior to Silver Mountain Water. You lose some of that inkiness. You lose that herbal tea feel. You get more, it's more metallic. It's more musky. It's powdery because of the iris and the rose involved in here. The citrus is just more watery. It's a fresher fragrance overall. This is gorgeous. Just as Justin said, you can wear this year round. If you're the type that needs somebody to feed your ego and your confidence and tell you you smell nice, you need to at least sample this and see if this suits your personality, because this is one of those fragrances.
Yes. Oh,
I'm
good
joking
choice.
about what I said. We all love a good compliment. I'm not going to say that. I love a good compliment. Some people need them, though. That's the people I'm joking about. You need the compliment. Just enjoy the fragrance. This is so enjoyable. Great performance. The summertime freshie that you can wear in the dead cold of winter and get joy out of, that's still going to survive knifing through that cold.
Yes.
Like a hot butter
Yes.
knife through butter. And I still
Yes.
have the tassel on it. I just always put them to the back.
Yeah, totally.
This
Then
is
that big boy bottle looks great.
oh, it's a
Yeah.
fragrance, man.
Yeah, I just got my.
Two good sprays.
It's funny. My only custom varieties are both the little boys, which is fine because I like that they're the same. But those big ones look great.
Soapy clean, but not basic ass bar soap type of
No,
clean.
is this Chris Maurice? Did he do this one as well?
I think so.
I feel like he's done like every fragrance they've ever made. But I'm gonna find. Yeah, you can find out.
Oh, 8. It came out that long ago. 8
Yeah,
out of 10 with 1,013 ratings. It ain't just me and you to still be rating an average of 8 out of 10 with 1,000 plus ratings.
That's incredible.
That's impressive. Oh, Jacques Flory.
Oh,
Jacques
okay.
Flory.
So maybe before Chris Maurice was working with them.
Yeah. Because it's 08. I don't know when Chris started.
Yeah.
Working.
I don't know either, but
So
he's
this was
been
probably
busy with
realistically created in 05 or 06. It always takes time.
Definitely. Definitely.
God,
Yes, so good, man.
Justin, if I wasn't wearing Brass and Soul, I'd be spraying my
man, I'm not mad at it.
Oh,
I'm not
I want
mad.
to layer it on top. I'm sure actually it would probably work. Probably
Got to
work.
give that an
I'm not the
experiment.
layering type though. I'd
Me
like
neither.
to pick a fragrance and go. I want
Same.
to wear it intended.
I like to enjoy them one at a time. I don't need some special
Guys,
concoction. Totally.
Please take our advice on this one. And this
Get a
one,
deep-
honestly. You know what? I'm going back to talking about the top 4. I stand by the statement of these are the 4 I would highly encourage you dip your toe. 40 Knots, Renaissance, Mephisto, Gentle Womo, about to drop one.
Yes.
Their freshies are special.
Yes.
They have depth. They don't smell like other things, like they weren't inspired by other fragrances. I mean, Mephisto smells like Silver Mountain water. I'm not going to sit here and say that one doesn't, but both of us agree, superior fragrance. But with Renaissance and 40 Knots and things like that, they are very special. There's a reason they get the type of love in the fragrance community that they get. So worth it.
Yes. Yeah, worth decanting, guys. Once again, there's a link down to Decant X, I think, in the description with a little discount code that does support the channel.
Is it Stay Fresh?
It's Stay Fresh 15.
Stay Fresh 15.
You get 15% off. And I think they have like every XERJOFF you can think of. So they've got a great selection there, including, I'm pretty sure, everything we talked about today.
It's crazy to think that we talked about some heavier, more interesting fragrances overall, but we're like, nope, the freshies. Try the freshies. Freshies.
I mean, it just goes to show it really depends on how you rank, because there's different ways to rank. And I think the most natural way, without having to think about it too much, which is I think what we both did, is factoring in primarily function and taste. Both of those things. So it's like, how do I like this scent? How do I feel about it? Mixed with how often do I wear it? How easily can I wear it? Right. And so you put those two things together, and that kind of gives you the order of things. And it doesn't mean that, oh, the ones at the bottom are not good. It just means that for one reason or another, again, either function or taste, or maybe a little bit of both, they just don't have as much limelight. So it's just cool when you can be honest in this way, because that's all we're doing, guys. This is function and taste. We're at the top. You see how much overlap we had, because these are the easiest ones to wear, so we get a lot of wear out of them.
Function and taste is how I operate every day with my fragrance. That's why I can appreciate, love, and drool over a fragrance like Deified. Am I going to wear it often? Maybe twice a year, realistically. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Dior Homme Parfum, I think, is one of the greatest creations in men's perfumery of all time. I wear that fragrance maybe twice a year. And I have 2 bottles because I want it to outlive me. I never want to not have sprays.
Yes.
Like, seriously, it's a little crazy when you hear me say it, but it's just reality on how I feel about certain fragrances. But it's like Justin said, function in my reality. I have a very casual apparel and lifestyle most of the time. So the easy to wear, versatile fragrances are going to be what I reach for, while I can still appreciate something challenging like a Mancera Black Prestigium that's loaded with dense florals, leather, funky oud, and resins. It's very challenging, special fragrance that I still have had for 6 months, haven't worn once. But I
I
love
get
pulling
it.
the cap and smelling it because I think it's one of the greatest things I've ever smelled.
That's
You
right.
know, when you can appreciate the art as a hobbyist, as I'm sure most people here are, you don't just
Definitely.
watch two guys talk about how a fragrance smells on a screen, cracking jokes about fragrances, unless you're really into this,
Yes, this is
you know. And we
a
thank you
special
for the
interest.
time.
Yes,
But the point being is you can appreciate a fragrance without having to wear it all the time. You can appreciate
that's
the
right.
art.
That's right. Yeah, in fact, that manifests in so many ways with us as reviewers. And I'm sure you've seen this a lot, Ross, when people come into your comments saying, you say you love this fragrance so much, but why is there so much juice in the bottle?
Why is there not a dent in it? Well, how much time do you have? If we're on a live stream, I have the time to do it. If it's a recorded video, I don't feel like writing you an essay in the comment section.
Exactly. Yeah, and it comes down to the fact that you can wear a fragrance a handful of times, you can understand it and know that you love it and share about it without having worn it 3 times before you feature it every time. Because you can spray it on your hand, you can spray it on a blotter, or you can just smell it from the cap and just remind yourself and whatnot. So with so many, with so many fragrances, we wear something new just about every day, and some stuff sits for a minute. And so, yes, it is possible to absolutely love something without spraying it constantly. It's just what it is.
3 of the 5 fragrances I've worn as my daytime wear this week. This is the first time I've worn the bottles.
That is awesome. Yeah, I get it, man.
And one of them is I finally bit the bullet.
You got original vetiver.
$150 from
Yes.
Costco, dude. And Creed Viking Cologne. I paid $309.21 shipped to my house after taxes for both. They ran a Creed sale. Everything was $140, $150 a bottle. It was like 2 weeks ago. I bought this in Viking Cologne.
Man, and that's that metal cap, right?
Yeah, it's the metal cap. And that night, out the shower, I wore me with Cologne come together.
Okay.
I love the profile. I knew you would appreciate this because I know you're an original Vetiver fan.
I'm a big fan. What do you feel like you prefer one over the other?
Yeah, original Vetiver superior. It's the way I've been calling it, an elegant take on Vetiver, because that's the difference, is the dry down. Yeah, the profiles are very identical until you get about 2 hours in.
That's right.
The Creed's still a higher quality smell the whole time, but it's when you get to the Vetiver, it's the difference. Now, is it worth hundreds of dollars more? That's up to you. I think so.
Exactly.
It's been a bucket list. I've been through multiple decants at this point, before I finally committed, because it is that good. It's simple, but it's simple done right.
It is so good. It's one of the best from the house for sure. So good. And yeah, just not really quite as appreciated, I'd say. I don't know if I actually read this. Keep up the great work, fellas. Center of the day, Zerof in Blue. Good stuff. Have you guys ever tried Oud Indochine? I don't remember who makes that. I've definitely heard of that. If anybody knows, and I'm sure somebody knows, obviously the guy who asked knows, Don knows, but I don't remember who the brand is for that. So please remind us in the comments.
I could pull up.
Oh yeah, that'd be easy.
Yeah.
But I think now is a good time in this stream to take some questions. If you guys have some burning questions.
So it's a XERJOFF. Oud Stars.
Oh. Wow, I feel silly.
So they actually have notes. Even though we know we can't really buy into that completely, but fruity, oriental, animalic, sweet floral, strawberry, orange, freesia, pink pepper, Bulgarian rose, peony, lily of the valley, oud, musk, bourbon, vanilla. That does sound good. Fruity, oriental, sweet floral, animalic. This does sound good.
That sounds beautiful. I want to try that.
relatable to a few I haven't even looked into before. But ooh, that does sound good. Different type of fruity because it's based around strawberry and a lot of fresh florals: peony, lily of the valley, freesia, pink pepper to brighten it up.
Don, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
And I have to give that a try. So I've got about maybe 10 minutes before I got to actually teach a trumpet lesson. But I would love to take some questions for either me or Ross or both.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have that's burning, that is maybe borderline controversial, you know how we like to do. Or if it's just about, a serious question about a fragrance or something, that's cool too.
Mm-hmm.
But we do like the juicy stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I'm seeing the PJ family's asking about Centaurus or Delphinus. I haven't tried either yet. Have you tried them?
Yes. Fragrance by the God too. I just don't want to spend $3.19 a pop because they are way more expensive than retail.
You said Fragrance by what?
Fragrance by has them in stock for $3.19 a piece right now. I've been really biting the bullet. Delphinus is based around iris, and Centaurus is a highly wearable tobacco fragrance.
Okay.
Like, I think you could wear that as a signature.
Wow. See, I've seen,
but not super sweet. Like it's a very mass appealing, very cordial, easy to get to know, easy to like type of tobacco. They didn't take a risk with this one. They wanted, let's sell a bunch of bottles. Let's put out something people like.
I've seen a lot of talk about both, and I've seen the general consensus that people think Delphinus is more special.
Yes, I would agree. I definitely would. Hell, I got a decant literally right here. Shout out to Miss Heather for sending me the decant.
See, I got it. I want to try them both. I don't know when I will, but yeah, I have not tried either of them. But yeah, I think I assumed that Delphinus was a feminine release until I actually started reading more about it, and it is technically unisex. So I'm going to check it out.
Trust me, you wear more feminine irises than that is.
Good to know.
It's not the most feminine iris fragrance, but it's also not the most masculine. Like it's not full of patchouli. And stuff.
For sure. That's fine. I'm not worried about that. Yeah, I want to check them both out. Yeah. Is it redundant to own all the Bleu de Chanel flankers in the original? Yeah, I would say yes. Even if I try to frame it functionally, like taste is one thing, but functionally, like, okay, could this one be better for that situation? This better? Like you could kind of draw that, but those lines are not super clear because you really could get away with a lot of them in different scenarios. Like unless they had
the opposite end of the spectrum, because one's wildly warmer, one's wildly fresher. But if you want just one, there's always the argument most people would agree, get the EDP. It's the medium.
I would just do the EDP. If you want one for everything, then that's the one. That's
probably the best option. It's the safest play if you're going to get one. I preferred the Parfum. I tested them religiously before I just. That's why I only have the Parfum, because I feel like I don't need the others. I'm starting to get the itch for the EDP these days, though, but I don't need it. I really don't.
Exactly. I used to own the EDP years ago.
You got the Parfum? I'm so proud.
I have the Parfum. Yeah.
When you get the blue fragrance and actually likes it, I get so proud.
I mean, because they did it right. They, it's not hard. They did it right. I saw Sir Siage chimed in. He always got something.
Well, this is his live stream, so definitely.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is not ours. Considering the props given tonight, would you consider XERJOFF the strongest house for freshies? Do you think any other brand does it better, or are they number one?
It poses a great argument.
I mean, of the catalog of freshies that they have, and I haven't tried them all.
Neither.
Several of them knock it out of the park. It's like they have several strong fresh offerings. It's not like they're one kind of gateway fresh offering and then the rest are okay kind of thing. It's like you could go to bat with any of them. You're going to get a different experience, and they're all going to do what they do very well. To say it's number one That is a tough argument because it obviously depends on who you're asking.
He's asking me and you.
Yes.
I don't know if I can give anyone number one, honestly.
Gosh. Because there's other brands that do fresh really well. Like,
because we got MFK and Creed both getting mentioned right here.
They both do. Yeah, Creed was coming to mind. I'm like, Creed does really well.
This is technically a freshie.
It sure is.
It's a grounded freshie because of the use of the vetiver, but it's very fresh. And we just talked about how amazing this is.
Yes. You know, and again, we would have to clearly define the parameters, because when you say this is the strongest house, now the question is, well, why? And I think most people would break it down very simply and say, well, the scents smell of high quality and they smell great and they perform well, if we're talking about a niche house.
Well,
so if performance is a part of the equation, then Creed may not hold a candle in that way. I mean, I don't think they're all just, like pouring Aquafina on yourself. They're not just straight up water. Some are better than others.
John Hunt took one of my two houses I was about to bring up. Atelier Cologne.
Okay.
It's special. It's mostly naturals, and they tell you the percentage of natural ingredients on the label on each one. I have a handful of offerings from them: Clementine, California, Orange Sanguine, Pacific Lime, Musk Imperial. I'm forgetting something right now. There's another one I have. They have beautiful offerings.
They do.
But I think it's shameful if we don't at least mention Aqua de Parma here.
Oh yeah. That's what they do.
Can't factor performance here, because when it comes to fresh, the Blue Mediterranean line alone, not counting all the others, is a mark of excellence when it comes to freshies. Yeah. And most of the time, we're talking anywhere from $50 to $70 for 5-ounce tester bottles that come in a brown box but still have the cap for most of that line. So the affordability is there, the photorealistic nature of the profiles, mostly Italian citrus, a Fico di Amalfi, one of the best fig fragrances ever created, just on and on and on. I mean, I'll put Bergamoto di Calabria against any bergamot-based fragrance, and you won't be able to argue me down on it, something being better. You just can't. I won't kneel. But that's where I felt like I needed to at least mention them, because I know performance will get thrown in there for a lot of people, and they'll take a dive there. You're not getting a lot of performance out of these fragrances. You're getting a phenomenal experience.
Yes. Function and experience for sure. In many ways with freshies, you just have to take what you get, because especially if they're using naturals and things, it's hard to really expect. Like, I do get a little bit irked when I hear people talking about some super fresh scent and getting upset that it doesn't last. Like, man, I spent all this money on this. I can't even think of an example right now, but just saying, oh, I can't believe it doesn't last. And I'm like, dude, every fragrance can't be that. No matter what you paid, you got to look at what it is.
A fragrance that is one of the greatest fresh fragrances ever created, ever of all time. Some of you are about to light up that I'm about to show this. It's an eau de cologne. It's gone in like an hour. You just spray the shit again. Terre de Mer.
Oh yes.
This is the d'Orange. I got this from George.
Okay, I know that's one.
Always get sets of this. This is George's favorite non-Zaroff fragrance. So one of the last times I visited George, he's like, take that. I got a bunch of them. Man, it's amazing. Citrus and green. It's gone in an hour, but it's one of the greatest.
Is that Eau d'Orange Vert?
Yep, sure is.
Okay, I got that one, man. That one is beautiful.
Yep, Eau d'Orange Vert, the Eau de Cologne.
I got that one as well. Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful
the experience here is incredible.
It's been around since like the 70s, maybe.
Yeah, this is one of a kind. It's timeless. And if performance is the most important thing to you, this is a complete piece of crap garbage to you. But it's one of the most photorealistic citrus rind, juicy, fresh green fragrances ever created. This is a timeless profile.
Yeah.
And it's horrible performance. Horrible.
Yes.
This is the one fragrance somebody could tell me 30 minutes and it's gone, bro, and I'll actually believe you. I'll actually believe you. Because if I get an hour, you probably do get 30 minutes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Jonathan Matson's putting Creed Aventus Cologne in that camp as well. Maybe, better performing than the Hermes for sure. but for the
far
price you might pay, yeah, I mean, maybe six hours out of something like that, which is more than enough.
That's my favorite. I love Aventus cologne.
I've been meaning to get a bottle for years.
I think it's so much better than Aventus.
It's
and I
so
love the
good.
smoke of Aventus. That's the crazy
Yeah.
thing. But I don't know, something about that ginger pink pepper, the switch to orange. Like, I don't know. I just love it. But it still smells like Aventus.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yeah. You know, so to answer the question, you can't say definitively that XERJOFF would be number one. But I'd say there's a handful of houses that really hit hard with it. So from there, it just depends on your taste. So yeah.
Sorry, we can't, because that's a question we really couldn't answer. Because we wouldn't be genuine with our answer if we'd have gave you an answer.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
It's definitely Aqua de Parma.
How you make,
right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
It's this. Everybody else is wrong. It's this. You know?
Yes. Here's an interesting question. In the last few years, what's the longest amount of days you both went without wearing a fragrance?
1.
Okay.
Once in a while, depending on how busy the day is, and I just didn't get around to it, it does happen. It's happened a few times this year, but it's just the one day. I'm itching to spray something the next day. It's like, oh, I ain't forgetting nothing today.
Okay.
Get my fix, man.
Yeah,
spray my crack on, man. Yeah.
You know, for me, I've had longer stretches, mainly because my wife's mother is extremely, I won't even say sensitive. She's allergic. And allergic maybe doesn't even do it justice. Like, it affects her in ways like scent of any kind. So, you know, for instance, for like our wedding, we had this, you know, multi-day thing and we were all together. So naturally, I didn't wear any fragrance for that. Every time we do Thanksgiving, all the families together, usually 4, 5, 6 days. I can't wear a drop of anything for those times. So yeah, I've gone several days in a row. And on one hand, it sucks because while I'm not wearing
special occasions like that.
Yeah, you know, while I'm not wearing a fragrance, all I want to be doing is wearing a fragrance and thinking about what I would wear. But when you finally come back, there's this renewed beauty. You give your nose a break and you just smell things differently. It's weird. And I've seen people say this, like, oh, you give yourself a break, you come back and you just kind of rejuvenate. And it's true. You can still
refresh.
Yeah. And just like you smell something that you know very well and you just smell like more of it now and you appreciate it more. So every now and then, I wouldn't say I intentionally take a day off, but nowadays I'm not too upset if for whatever reason I wasn't able to wear something for the day. I'm like, you know what, it's okay. Tomorrow I'll just feel even better about it. So great question. Andre's asking, thank you for the super chat. I'm on a quest. I'm looking for something that's close to the long discontinued Kenzo Lopar Indigo, lime, ginger, coriander, elemi, vetiver. Man, okay. Have not tried that. I've definitely heard of that one, but I haven't heard that name in years. Lime, ginger.
09, the Porom.
It's hard to say what is close, at least in terms of just conceptualizing, because you never.
Somebody said Declaration EDT. Is that profile that you're looking at here? Because I know you have Declaration.
Oh yeah, I love Declaration. I know it very well. I wouldn't,
similar,
based on what he wrote on this page here with these notes.
Because 3 people rated that it's similar.
I can't say because I haven't smelled it, but it doesn't seem that similar because Declaration is not a ginger and lime forward.
Andre said it's not close. The newest comment.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't think it would be.
The gentleman that's asking in the first place.
Yes. So I mean, it's hard to really say unless we've smelled that. I haven't smelled that, so it's hard for us to give you a genuine place to look. So
I feel terrible when somebody pays money for a question and I don't have an answer. I feel awful.
Yeah, really sorry about that,
Andre.
Yeah, unless there's someone in the comments who has tried that Kenzo,
That would be great.
Yeah, because I haven't had the pleasure. So do apologize for that. But thank you for the question.
Have a good night, Lizzie. Lizzie's leaving.
Yeah. All right, Liz. Have a great night. Thanks for hanging
Come
out.
hang out with us.
I can do maybe one more good question. Got a few minutes. I got a student at 7:30 my time. So
Who's
and I
coming?
need these. And no, we do it on FaceTime.
Oh, okay.
But I just need food because I'm starving.
I'm hungry too. I'm actually.
Yeah.
I just thought while you were talking, I was thinking like, damn, I'm gonna miss a meal because I've been trying to go to bed at 11 because I get up at 5:30 and it's been rough only getting 5. I normally go to bed at midnight.
Yeah.
So I've been going to bed at 11 to get that extra hour, and it's really helped a lot with
it. Really makes a difference, I'm sure.
Yeah, big difference.
Yeah,
I get
6
up
hours.
and do, fasted cardio for 45 minutes in the morning.
Whew, that's intense.
Come home, eat, do content for a couple of hours of doing all that stuff, and then I go lift.
Right back into it, man. You are a madman.
I am.
Doing what needs to be done.
I love my life, though, man. Life is good.
That is awesome. Okay, yeah. One more question, guys. I see.
JXM, if you want to head over to my channel, I put a review out on it 3 days ago. Full review, performance, and everything.
Black.
Yeah, spoiler, very much like Hachivat. Not quite Absolute Aventus like everyone anticipated. Very, very, very faint. Like if you tell me anybody that would say more than 20% tie-in, I think they're reaching personally. Very much, it's not the spicy, smoky type of oak moss. It's like the cedar mixes in really well with it. It's more of a dry, woody green dry down. Very super fruity at the top. It is good. Literally right here, a couple days ago. It is really good. Just very redundant is the problem. It's really it's better than most of the stuff it's redundant to, but if you want to avoid redundancy, you probably have something similar.
Okay. Yeah, I obviously I don't have it. I haven't tried it.
It's way
so strong.
Wait. So you got ears perked up for somebody just now. Strong? Really? Too strong?
Yes. Yeah. They're giving the people what they want.
Wow,
for sure.
Strong.
This is an interesting question. I feel like this is a good last one because I think there's more to this than what's on the surface. What kills the strength of your cologne? So this question to me, when I hear this, it seems like one asked out of maybe a little bit of frustration of like, is there something externally affecting my fragrance's performance? And it's like, okay, well, first of all, we do need to consider the intrinsic quality of the fragrance itself. Is the fragrance itself not really a strong performer? That's a possibility, right?
All the ingredients.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Now, yeah, it kills the strength. It's like if you have dry skin, that definitely can play a big role. I've asked many people who have come into my comments saying, oh man, this fragrance doesn't last, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is your skin relatively dry? And they say, yeah. And I'm like, that's why. Because some people just don't know. If you have relatively dry skin, and I think because most people do, yep, that thing has nothing to cling on to. It just won't last. Yeah. So that's the thing. But here's the other thing. This is the deeper part, I think, of this question. Is the nose. When we wear fragrance, when we smell it, when we experience it, and we try to measure and track how it performs, we are assuming that this thing is perfect. We're assuming that we are smelling it exactly as it is for as long as it is present, not taking into account that, there's a chance that our nose might not be really experiencing reality the way it is. So what does all that mean? That's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. What that means is your fragrance might still be there. You just can't smell it. There's other people who can probably smell it around you more than you can. Is that always the case? No, but it is something to consider. And I think it's something that most people forget about, or they just choose not to consider. The fact that they just might not be smelling it. I think olfactory fatigue is a lot more common than we give it credit. It's a lot easier, especially when you
argue with me about it all the time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, people say, "Oh, don't give us that crap.
I,
It just
and I
doesn't
always
last."
say I'm not sharing my opinion when I say this.
Yes.
I've befriended several perfumers at this stage. I'm telling you from the educated, trained artists, that is what goes on. Our receptors are more, your receptors are more sensitive to certain oils and aromas. Mine are sensitive to certain oils and aromas. We might not get the same level of fatigue on the same exact fragrance. That's why everybody's experience is so. Our biggest variance, aside from our natural skin chemistry, is this nose right here, the receptors in
Yes.
there. It's the biggest
Yes.
variable. It's not the
Yep.
fragrance most of the time.
That is the truth. We are the variable because the scent is not changing in the bottle.
I get people
From
fussing. I'm telling you,
yeah.
my girl couldn't smell. Yeah, your girl's hanging with you. She probably went nose blind too. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I see fragrance induced coma said drinking more water will help you stay
So
hydrated
Brian,
and skin less dry. And that could not
I
be
get
overstated because I think most of us humans don't
speaking
drink
of.
enough water. We're sitting here drinking these sugary drinks, we're drinking a lot of coffee, and we just feel like, well, I'm drinking a liquid, so and the fact that you can go to bed at night and wake up in the
Coffee
morning.
dehydrates.
Exactly. And the fact
It's
that
a
you can,
natural diuretic.
yeah, you can go to bed and you can wake up the next morning alive and be like, okay, I'm okay, not knowing that your body needs water. So you need more water than you think. And yes, it does affect your skin in so many ways, not just how fragrances will last on it, but also just how it looks. It makes your face look clearer. And if you have issues with things like that, water can help. It's so simple, but it's easy to overlook. So, guys, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but the more you can
Or you
cut
end up
out.
with a calcium deposit and you have this one. That was not a blackhead or a pimple, guys. It was like some hard calcium deposit. I'm sure somebody's been wondering, what's that shit going on in his face? That I hydrate. I drink 5 to 6 liters a day. So
Yes,
it's not 100% drinking water is going to fix your skin. It helps though.
I mean, if you don't drink water, I don't think you're better off. So we'll just say that.
Yes. Don't just drink sodas and coffees all day. It's 100%
Yes,
right with that.
like I know it's not sexy, it's not fun to just drink water. There's different things you can do to your water. There's little flavory, things that are good for you, like powders and things you can add to it to make it more interesting. Because water is boring. Yes.
Yes, that's why I have Crystal Light in this one.
Yes, I get it.
Chemicals. Yeah.
I get it. Anyway, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying that is a thing that people
I thought
overlook.
you were Dr. Copeland. Aren't you working on your doctorate?
Oh my
Didn't you get your
gosh.
doctorate?
I cannot help you with hydration.
But you did get your doctorate though, right? You're done.
Yes.
Yeah, your Dr.
Anyway.
As you were saying, Dr. Copeland.
Anyway, well, that's all. That's where I'm going to end it, and I actually need to end this off because I have to get going. But I want to thank all of you guys for hanging out with us for these 2 hours, 22 minutes, talking about all these fragrances and nonsense and good stuff. And once again, we will be back on Ross's channel a week from today. More details about that to come. Indeed. We look forward to seeing you guys there who can make it. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, watch our videos, support. We appreciate
I think the most important thing I could say here is if for some reason you're not subscribed to this gentleman, please do so. Long overdue. There would be nothing that would make me happier as his friend than to see him with one of these. I wanted him to beat me to this. He can tell you we had many conversations. Mm-hmm. I either wanted us to get it at the same time or him to get it before me because I think he deserves it. He's been doing this longer. He's very unique in this space. So if you like anything you saw here today or any of his other content, please subscribe if you haven't yet. The man is this close to the milestone. He's this close to the verification check and the silver play button.
We're getting there, man. I appreciate that. Real quick before we go, I just had to highlight this top 10 water brands for man skin compliment.
Coming soon, just for you, sir. And Sir Siage, I couldn't talk him into the tricep pose thumbnail that you were requesting.
Oh, man, yes.
We did talk about it. But,
Maybe next time. I have to take another one. I need an updated one.
Yeah.
I've been working the triceps since then.
Yeah, you've gotten bigger. You've definitely gotten bigger.
Yeah, man. Anyway, thank you all so much. We will see you in the next one.
Have a good one, guys.